Come on, it's Christmas time, yeah. Let the Christmas get you in a good mood. Let the Christmas get you feeling fine. Put on your neck, let the Christmas get you in a good mood. Let the Christmas get you feeling fine. Put on your dancing shoes and come with me tonight. We're gonna rock till broad daylight. If your shoes start squeezing you, just kick them off, that's fine. Nothing should stop your feet from dancing. Come on, it's Christmas time, yeah. Let the Christmas get you in a good mood. Let the Christmas get you feeling fine. Put on your dancing shoes and come with me tonight. We're gonna rock.
I know where I'll be for Christmas, and the thought excites me so. Away from all the cold of some distant foreign land, I'll be where Jamaican Christmas breezes blow. They tell me snow is pretty, well maybe. What I know for sure, it's mighty cold. I would never, never, never be caught playing a cricket match on ice. In or out of form, I would be bold. In the West, every Christmas breezes blow. Catch the festive spirit sweet, catch the rhythm and the beat. Instead, is a time for all to smile. There's no winter tide, there's a sweet sunshine at Christmas Jamaican style. In the West, every Christmas is a time for all to smile. There's no winter time, there's a sweet sunshine at Christmas Jamaican style. In the West, every Christmas is.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Indeed, it is a new day. There's no rain falling outside. It is a dry morning, a cool morning. The Christmas breeze is blowing outside, and it's good to be alive. Good morning, Miss Minette. How are you today?
I am well, thank you, sir. Good morning to you also. And good morning to all our listeners. This is the Morning Connection. It is Wednesday, the 15th of December. I got up this morning thinking, I can't believe it. We're halfway through the month. We only have another 2 weeks before we are ushering in
16 days to be exact.
2022.
2022.
And yes, we are indeed grateful to be alive. Good morning to the crew in the house, Mr. Engineer. I see you played a song for yourself this morning. You were singing. Distracted me, actually. I thought, that's a nice song, too. And good morning to the producer, dressed for the weather because it's cool outside. It's a little cold in the studio. Well, we're here and we're happy to be with you this morning. Thank you all for joining in. Coming down in the mornings, it's like just another day. You're seeing the energy and the bustle
And you're seeing the
almost
Christmas
of
lights.
the pre-COVID times. Yes, I am noticing that the city
Good. Yes,
has
it-
adorned
adorn
herself
yourself.
for Christmas.
Yes. And you
Um,
love Christmas.
I do love Christmas, and I love. I've had to distance myself from putting up the many lights because the
Electricity.
yes, it's a
Yeah.
marine haze repented at leisure. Yeah, the cost of it
Mhm.
makes kind of you shake your head. What used to happen is every year,
Mhm.
towards the end of the year, your electricity bill would be whatever it is, a stable amount. Then you would do Christmas and you put up lights and you have a tree and so on, and the bill doubles, and that doubling of the bill would be the new constant for the next year.
Are you serious?
That has been my experience.
you actually observed that you
Yep.
did the research and it
No,
just-
my personal experience.
but I'm saying you
Yes,
did your
I did.
research.
I
you
did.
looked
I
at
ended
it.
up doing like a spreadsheet and sending it to JPS.
Okay.
Yeah, it's peer
Good
reviewed.
period.
Yes, I peered at it and I reviewed it. No, I did I actually did a
I like
spreadsheet.
that definition. You
It's
peered at
peer
it
reviewed,
and
and I
you reviewed
reviewed
it,
Yes,
and you came
I mean,
up with that. Oh wow, well,
yeah, I mean, finally, when I'd had enough, JPS says, well, all right, we'll take out that meter. And I got the Rami, the smart meter, way ahead of the time when they had it planned for, not way ahead really, but
Yeah, they-
ahead of the time that they had it planned for my neighborhood. Because after years and years of seeing the same thing, and I'm telling you, I watched my bill grow from $13,000 to well over $100,000
wow,
for my home.
wow.
And I wasn't, I mean,
And it was because
was-
of the addition of the Christmas
well,
lights. So
what
they were
I
saying,
noticed, what I noticed is that the first time it happened was after I did like a whole row of palm trees
Of
for
lights.
Christmas, and yeah. So
so that-
anyway,
that has become the
I'm
new
not bashing
norm.
JPS. JPS is running there. Did you get to speak to our friend there?
Yeah,
They're
but
doing
that-
their Christmas campaign,
and we need to
which I think is a really good thing, and I'd love to give it a plug for them. But
we'll
well,
follow
you know,
that up today after today
yeah,
to see what
yeah,
really is
it
happening.
it is a good initiative
Yeah, and it
to
has really.
incentivize persons to get to understand energy consumption better, to plan and to budget for it in a more manageable way. And Lord knows, I am completely on board with it. All right. So good morning to all of you. Thank you as always. Yesterday we were we were silent.
No, we were not silenced. They tried to
Listen,
silence us.
what they say, if a tree falls in the forest and no one hears it, did it make a sound?
It made a sound because
Well.
because people remember the lady who said online, "I'm going crazy."
Yeah, she
And
can't find
like,
us, and
She
she
can't
going
find us,
crazy.
and she was going crazy. I don't know if it
Mhm.
will become an addiction to some people in the morning.
Oh,
And
I
is
doubt
that a
it.
good or a bad sign? People
Um,
can't do without this early morning.
chatter.
I don't call it chatter. This the
No,
early morning
it is-
inspiration.
Yeah.
Today we will have our prayer. Remember last week we had invited people to fast for the spirit, and so even in your calls this morning, if you have something good to report in terms of having engaged in this fast for a nation, in terms of stuff happening in your present life, you see something change or something shift, we want you to
Yes,
report
please.
that. And but this morning in terms of our prayer, because when you pray, not when you beg. You're going with that, and when you
Mhm.
pray, because you pray from a position of what is in the covenant. If you do this, this is what happens. We need to enter into thanksgiving, because when you praise, even when the situation seems difficult. I say to people all of the time, when you praise, when the situation is difficult, you are really shifting the focus from yourself to the God you serve. And it gets God's attention, and He will come down and say, "What is happening with my child? Let me see if I can intervene in the situation." Because the Word
You
of
know-
God says He inhabits the praises of His people. So I tell people all the time, whatever you're going through, as we said out of Philippians 4, in everything give thanks.
May
Give
I-
thanks.
May I
Rejoice. Give thanks.
may I reinterpret that a little bit from my
That's okay.
personal
Perspective.
a more personal perspective?
Mhm.
Like many persons listening, I have contemplated this business of getting God's attention,
Mhm.
which is a way that pastors and others speak to sort of, well, not to convey the impression that God's attention is not on you, and you need to say, "Hey, I'm over here. Look at me." But when we speak like that, oftentimes we give the impression
Like God
that
is not watching us.
God is busy elsewhere,
Mhm.
and that we, like a child pulling at its mother's skirt tails, have to get His attention. The truth of the matter is, God's attention is always on every aspect of His creation. That's what makes Him God. That's what we mean when we say He's omniscient and He's omnipresent. He's everywhere, and He knows all that is happening in His creation. Prayer is for us, the prayer. The person praying is the beneficiary of the prayer. The experience of praying is what opens you up to see and receive and enjoy and step into the things which your God, your Father, has provided for you. So sometimes, well, let's say then, prayer removes the scales from your eyes. Prayer allows you to free yourself up and find the hidden treasure. We'll talk a little bit more about that when we return, because I think it's just an important shift in one's understanding and perspective that makes a world of difference. It made a world of difference for me. 6:30. Let's take our break and then please.
Half a tree, 100, half a tree. Bossy, how we do I take taxi star?
Jano, I want to tell you, say, 2 months now, my transmission mash up, and I check everybody and can't hear nothing positive.
You hear me? You waste all that time I shop around and never call the experts. Winters Auto have them. Them have over 35 years of experience and them diagnose the problem and get back your transmission brand new. For them service excellent and efficient. Trust me, man. You hear me? Call them at 929-7040 or go to them at 106 Maxfield Avenue, Kingston 13 and talk directly to the boss. Just tell them I'm me, send you.
You big star. Yeah, man, respect my boss.
Try calling, cause trust me.
Winters Auto Spares and Repairs, good afternoon.
What a relief.
Easy! Let not your hearts be troubled. Just believe in God Almighty and daily renew the mind. As we live in this time when fake is more valued than real, lies prefer the truth, the unnatural put above the natural. This is Lady Donna, aka Double D Donna, with a new song, Almighty Jah, encouraging your people to keep the faith that God will make a way. Get your copy today. It's on all digital platforms. Lady Donna Official on Instagram, Facebook, AsujaRecords.com. For bookings, Asuja Record Label at Gmail. Almighty Jah!
Praise him, praise him, praise him, praise him, praise him. And the name of Jive, it time me up. And the name of Jive, it wakes me up. So them evil, so them lie, so them corrupt. Stealing and them planning, but we not give up. Jehovah and the one where you put me up. In on the Father we put
The station that makes you feel good.
I love the station. I think it's great.
My station.
Moving.
This is my station.
Moving. Keep it right here. Keep it right here.
Best FM. Keep listening.
Best 100.5 FM brings you youth empowerment and resilience, a 30-minute program with Royton McLaren every Monday from 7:30 to 8 p.m. Your Monday nights will not be the same again. Managing stress, trauma? Let's talk on youth empowerment and resilience with Royton McLaren on Best 100.5 FM every Monday from 7:30 to 8 p.m.
It's good, it's better, but nothing beats.
Good morning and welcome back to the Morning Connection. Your hosts are Minute Lawrence and Percival Palmer. And of course, you know, we have a habit here of just jumping in feet first. There is no warm-up.
No, we can't warm up.
There
Time
is
is
no
too short. You've got to
There
get
is
to
no redeem the time.
for the days. And, you know, in terms of the time I was with somebody yesterday, and I said, I can't believe it. So, okay. Attention, as we'd call it. There are principles that God operates with. True?
Yeah, I know. You went back to the getting attention.
Yes, I was saying, people saying getting attention.
Yeah.
Because, as you have rightly said, God is omniscient, omnipresent, all powerful. So it's not that he has over there, like him gazing.
Right,
And him don't
and
know
they
what
have to
is
say,
happening in the situation.
"Over here."
Over here, you said, over here. I'm over here, I
Yeah.
need an intervention here. He didn't. But the basis, and people can read it for themselves, the basis was because you are who you are, I'm asking for an intervention based on a promise that you have given us. All of us.
Right. So we're back to the I don't beg.
Yes, I don't beg.
Ah,
Based on
I
a
see.
promise.
You're very clever.
Yes. No. I'm learning from the great one. So,
You're right. King Jehoshaphat did not have to beg.
no, he went to the place. This is what you've promised.
He did it perfectly,
Yeah,
actually.
yes.
He did it perfectly.
Yeah, pouring might and he got an answer, and the answer was, here are people getting ready to fight, and you fight with weapons and swords and things. He says, I'm changing it up this time around because you see, one of the things that I've learned, you cannot put God in a box. And I say that again to a lot of people. We've tried to put God in a box in terms of how and when he should operate, because we have seen some principles, but God is God because God is God. Just you can't put him in a box. And he says, okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna praise our way through. Be not afraid or dismayed at this great multitude, for the battle is not yours but God. So go down against them tomorrow. Behold, they'll come up. You need not fight in this battle. Take your position and stand and witness the salvation of the Lord who is with you. O Judah and Jerusalem, do not. And what did they do? They praised him. They sent the praisers first.
Mm-hmm. So, I wonder if some people understand that when armies go out, the buglers, the music ahead of them, that is the praise and that's the tradition.
Yeah. This was how they prayed. And
that was the army.
That was
the
army
army because they had been instructed, you don't need to fight.
Right,
if you don't need to fight, why go with your gun? If you go with your gun, you begin to rely on the gun and you forget that that is not your salvation.
Yeah.
All right, before we took the break, I was emphasizing because a number of persons call, and sometimes you hear them say, "Where was God? Why did He allow?" This is not how my understanding of a loving Father. God does not kill people. He doesn't doesn't cause destruction, and different ideas as persons at varying different points in their journey are coming to learn and to understand and to build their own relationship with God. Don't intend to interfere with it. I went through my own journey. I understand that the process of a sincere prayer requires you to lower your defenses, to stop thinking that you, in your own natural abilities, can overcome this by yourself. It makes you vulnerable to the workings of the Spirit. That's what the prayer does. The prayer, the prayer is not like it's not like in court where if you didn't use the right words or include it in your document, you'd have to amend it for the court to have power to do whatever it is that you need. And then those who go really deep understand what praying in the Spirit is about, where it is not words that are intelligible in your native tongue. It is a whole different thing. And one of the reasons I emphasize it, every time I hear someone saying, use your words, like if you don't speak, God, it won't trigger the kind of response. I always think about those who are mute, devoid of language, spoken language, but must communicate. And I said, what? So God don't have a policy for the disabled? Sure he does. Sure he
surely
does.
He surely does.
And there are moments where the place where you are, you cannot speak out loud. I mean, you're sitting in court, you see a perverse thing coming your way, you hear things going on, you need to pray. Are you going to get up and say, Lord, my God, remember me, here I am in the Supreme Court of Jamaica? No.
Or groanings that only Spirit can understand. That's what he says.
Or you're in Parliament and you see foolishness going down wherever you are. And this is just something I'm saying to the persons out there who are children of God working in purpose. And you're finding yourselves in boardrooms, in courtrooms, in Parliament, in committee meetings amongst non-believers or persons of different beliefs. And you know that this is a moment for divine intervention and you want to call it down. Don't feel that you need to, get up and speak out loud and seize the moment. No, you can pray. And that prayer, sometimes it is just that shift in your own perspective and spirit that changes the atmosphere in the room. And you see things begin to unlock. Pastor Percy called us into giving up something, and moving from Wednesday to this Wednesday. I want to say this: if you answered that call, the convocation,
Yes.
if you
Call it
answer,
together.
yeah,
That's a prayer.
if you answered that call, and what you found is that instead of, oil and gold coming down into your resources, into your hands, what you got was a whole truckload of additional trouble. Please understand that that additional trouble is signaling to you that you are in the right place, on the right track. If there's a saying that one of my favorite pastors is always saying, if you don't feel the devil harassing you, it means you're walking with him. It means in tandem, a friend, and he's just giving his partner at an ease.
Yeah.
If you're not being harassed and provoked and threatened and being pressed, it means that you gotta look at how you're playing for the wrong side. And this, of course, is if you are a child of light and
Versus darkness.
Right.
So
Okay.
I just close that out with praise and give thanks to the Lord for his mercy and loving kindness endure forever. When they began singing and praising, the Lord said, ambush against the sons, the enemies who had become, so they were struck down in defeat. Can you imagine that? That's what our praise does. So this morning, in terms of our prayer, doing it a little bit differently, open, but we're just going to be, here are some songs of praise and just giving thanks in terms of what God has done and will continue to do. Because mercy and his loving kindness, they continue forever.
All right. I'm inspired to make this comment right here because yesterday we spoke about it is yesterday that we spoke about agreement, or we continued it.
Monday.
We started on Monday.
Yeah.
We spoke about agreement. And this now is you praying by yourself. We're not talking about agreement. The agreement that needs to exist is when you are praying on your own. You just need to be in alignment with the will of God as you pray. But when we are doing corporate prayer, meaning, we are agreeing on things in the national good or for the good of your family or whatever group you may be a part of. Corporate prayer requires agreement in some specific ways in order for the prayer to be effective. And just please bear in mind why this is so. This is not anything arcane or mystic. The simple matter is that it is only when persons are in agreement that they work together to implement.
Come on.
If they
Come on. I got a preaching coming on this morning.
So this is not when the agreement that is called for, it is to enable those who have put hands together to implement the very thing they've agreed. If you are at odds with it, then you won't move
but we
forward.
see it work all the time.
Can I tell you, when you even look in Parliament, and if there are parliamentarians listening or friends of parliamentarians, bear this in mind. There is need for agreement. It is not a place of dissension. It's a place for the contention of ideas because there are opposing forces present. But you're only opposing forces to move towards the best result the good of the nation. So agreement is necessary anywhere for things to progress. If you're not in agreement, you cannot implement successfully.
But it's a principle that it's across anywhere where people gather together to seek to achieve a common goal. If you have a football team, and
the team, it's teamwork.
It's teamwork. It makes a dream work. Somebody coined that statement.
Yeah.
In sport, it's in important. I've seen where teams that were superior to the other team lost the game. Why did they lose the game? Because the opposing team were united in terms of we're not going to make you win this game.
They were working as one.
Yes, they were working as one. And that's important in everything. In corporate, that's important. In church.
In politics, in church.
Everywhere.
Yeah, in families.
Yeah, it's important.
That agreement is at the heart of unity, and that's what gives you the strength to move for God. God
Good. Excellent.
doesn't need anything. But the prayer works on the prayer.
Yeah, come on.
You who pray benefit from prayer.
19,
Similarly,
19.
giving.
Yeah.
Giving to the church is not to enrich the pastor and to allow him to buy cars and travel. the truth is, when you give to the church and you give with sincerity of heart, it really doesn't matter what the pastor do with the money. If he wastes it, it is on him.
You're going to be held
But
accountable.
for you who has given, you through your giving would have opened to give to the church, to give properly to the church, is to recognize that there is work of God to be done that needs to be financed. If you so it ought not to be a token giving where every month I need to take off, and you, without even thinking about it, you just give. I don't believe that giving. A lot of people are tithing and not seeing the result of it because they are not genuinely tithing. They're putting money down the same way you put money for something else, and you're trying to let your money do for you what your heart should be doing.
Because the heart is important.
And so it doesn't work. And then you have persons who don't tithe and they prosper because though they're not tithing in that way to a church, they are giving.
They're giving, they're sowing seeds
They're
over the place.
all over the place. Something which a pastor once told me, that if you're not tithing, no matter what you're giving, it doesn't count. A very disturbing conversation, that one, because it was suggesting that it is only by giving into a pastor's organization that you could unlock the blessings that come with giving to the work of God. That's a conversation for a different day. So for this morning, Pastor, what is on my mind? We started it yesterday, but we didn't move further with it. I think we've spent a good portion of our time on this program so far, focusing more on self, the empowerment of individuals, the building up of the mind and the consciousness, and just sharing on the principles that emanate from the kingdom, those principles which are critical to prosperity and harmonious living. I want to talk a little bit this morning about how we use those principles to drive our treatment of the environment, the built environment and the natural environment. You know that I had begun to look at what Anthony Clayton, Professor Clayton, whom you have spoken to and who has agreed to spend some time with us. He has done an aid for yourself and future generations.
And it's an important thing. You know, that's a concept that says, out of Jewish thing, that the father lays up for the grandchildren. Yeah.
Right. So future generations, big deal. So you're entitled to preserve for yourselves and future generations the rights and freedoms which you enjoy or to which you are entitled by virtue of your inherent dignity as persons and citizens of a free and democratic society. So person first. Citizens are drawn into the second part of the provision to sort of anchor you, but you are not dispossessed of those rights because you're not a citizen. As long as you're in Jamaica, you enjoy that right. Okay. And then at paragraph L, clause L of the same section 13, it lists all the rights, and there are many of them. There is the right to enjoy a healthy and productive environment free from the threat. The threat hasn't materialized, only a threat. Free from the threat of injury or damage from environmental abuse and degradation of the ecological heritage.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
One of us as Jamaica know that that's our charter, our rights and freedom.
Yeah, speaks to the environment. All right. That being so, where are we? We have a few minutes. We can look at some of what Professor Clayton was saying, what has caught my attention. So all of what he writes is on the basis that what's being described as global warming or climatic changes, whatever your consciousness allow you to accept. Some people say it's judgment or fulfillment of prophecy because these things are spoken of. However you want to characterize the changes that are occurring every day. Last weekend, 30 tornadoes in one place.
Just like that.
Yeah. Devastation of, crazy devastation. And they are watching the weather and saying more things are coming. unending fires that test the patience of every facilitation that you can achieve.
And there are some of the things that you can do to mitigate that based on.
Yeah.
And that is
So,
what I think
and
he's talking about.
that's what
that
he's talking about.
Yeah.
But of course, he looks deep into the future, and he's talking about Jamaica by 2050. He says it will be much hotter and more crowded. Some of us would be 100 and a little bit. It will be much hotter and more crowded, and it will be a much hotter and more crowded world in 2050. So we have to pause for a moment and realize that the salubrious climate that we enjoy in Jamaica make us very attractive. We are already attractive for holiday makers and so on. So this is a time when the policy that you have with regard to the ownership of land becomes critical, and the use of land becomes critical, because more likely than not, Jamaica will continue to be an excellent choice for a second home, and then people will just come and start staying longer and longer and longer. So he anticipates that the world will be much more crowded. And Africa, with 2.5 degrees of warming, the climate will be less stable and more erratic, with unbearable heat waves and acute water shortages. So pause for Jamaica, it means that the harvesting of rainwater, the storage of water, caring for the infrastructure that distributes water throughout the country, those are present day imperatives. Those are things we should be addressing in policy. And one of the reasons I'm going through this is so that we as citizens with the entitlement to preserve our environment and to ensure
responsibility to those who come after us.
Absolutely. We can today begin to address our minds to what is it that we need to see happening. And as we are holding government and city managers accountable, we can be looking now at how are they spending the budget, where the infrastructure is going, how long it is taking, what should be abandoned, what should be replaced, and so on and so forth. This is where I'm taking you. We have spent a lot of time building up our minds to be able to environment. And by built environment, I mean the things that we as men impose on the land. Are we building bridges, roadways? What are we doing in terms of river trading? The built environment, the schools, how we dispose of garbage, those kinds of things. That's what we are responsible for. Some things we ought not to be moving a mountain. I have to laugh at that because of all the mining of marl and
yes, a
so on and
serious
so
thing,
forth. So we have to look at that. Are we changing the topography of our environment, the natural environment, because we are imposing structures in places where there should be no structures?
And one of the things, even as we come up to the break, is how these high-rise apartments are just going up, and some people are saying, most of them respond from personal things. We have people look over in them yard that they was never had before.
Well, but privacy is an important fundamental right.
I understand that, but even beyond that, remember, Dr. Lee Ayi had said that when they're doing all of these things, and I've heard a pushback when somebody says classism by building. There was a comment from some quarters, and the point was, he was saying, the people who are truly affected, is that the people lower stream in the inner cities.
It runs downstream.
It runs downstream in terms of you've put extra load on the waterways and extra load in terms of garbage, in terms of all the related facilities. And we're putting these things in place. The approval is given by the municipal authorities. But I'm wondering if in giving those approvals for those, you used to have one house there, now you have a 20 apartment complex in that same area. That's 20 times.
The density has changed, and it means more pressure on the built environment. What are the accommodations? So, listen, there is no doubt that in our planning departments and so on, there are persons with the requisite competence to do the right thing. But are we as citizens involving ourselves in looking at what they're doing to make sure they are doing the right thing? Case in point, a few days ago, we spoke about a young lady we met on the road whose apartment brand new complex she was living in had been someone had
Brutal.
broken and gone in on her young
Yeah.
child. And when we went there, we saw there was
No,
no
sir.
security system in place.
I would say
So,
put
all
it
right,
in,
I've got
put
the
it in,
break
put it
signal,
in, put
and
it in.
I am obedient this morning. So let's take the break, and then when we get back, we'll talk a little bit more about what Jamaica is facing as the climate changes tighten its grip on our society and what it is that we need to be doing. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.
We'll be right back.
Calling Farmers, a 5-minute look at activities and developments in the agriculture sector.
5 investors received leases to 50 acres of land as part of the phased rollout of the Mango Agro Park in Clarendon. Stay tuned to learn more on today's edition of Calling Farmers. Good morning, I'm Andre Palmer.
Each day, thousands of travelers pass through Jamaica's airports. Our screening process must therefore be simple and efficient. Through the Passport Immigration and Citizenship Agency Border Security Project, we are working to automate screening of travelers and introduce an electronic travel authorization process. All health processes are being integrated into the current border security system. The goal? To provide a world-class system to keep our citizens safe. The Passport Immigration and Citizenship Agency, securing our borders, safeguarding our sovereignty.
The Agro Investment Corporation, AIC, has handed over leases to 5 investors to begin cultivation of 250 acres of land in Spring Plain, Clarendon. CEO of AIC, Dr. Al Powell, says the lands will be used for mango production, with investors expected to see returns on their investment in 3 years.
The Mango Agro Park, after 3 years, will have a positive cash flow for the next 70 years or more. This suggests that you as an investor, your children, your grandchildren, and your great-grandchildren can benefit substantially from this investment. You should also be aware that the Mango Park was once used as a sugar land and is very suitable for mango production, given the pH, soil type, and all.
For the
indical to have people in house who are connected globally with markets, locally with markets, and we can always help you. Just ask the question and make the request. We're also encouraging you to start the operation as soon as possible.
The Spring Plain Mango Park is equipped with irrigation facilities, and investors will also be able to access seedlings from the Bodles Research Station in St. Catherine.
The Mango Agro Park, with 900 acres, is strategically located at Spring Plain, Clarendon. And you see the highway running right through. So when you're ready to ship to Kingston, it becomes so easy.
CEO Agro Investment Corporation, AIC, Dr. Al Powell. Now for our Jamaican saying of the day, Wasweeta mouth, hotter belly. Translation, what tastes sweet in the mouth burns the belly. Do you know what this means? Find out when we return.
Spread love and joy this Christmas by gifting a child in state care through the CPFSA's Grant a Wish program.
Interested persons and organizations can contact the nearest CPFSA regional office, select a wish, purchase and drop off gifts at CPFSA parish offices. All gifts must be dropped off by 5 p.m. Monday, December 20. Call 876-948-1145 or 967-1614 for more details.
Help bring some cheerful smiles to our children in state care. United Way and others, proud sponsors of this initiative.
This Christmas will be a very special Christmas.
The countdown begins. 2022 will be extra special. Reigniting. It's going to be big.
The meaning of today's Jamaican saying is, some things are not good for us, although they may appear to be exactly what we want. We should be cautious about what we latch on to, lest we cause ourselves much pain and embarrassment. Be sure to listen to Calling Farmers for more Jamaican sayings and proverbs. That's it for today's program. I'm Andre Palmer with studio engineer Joel Samuels, inviting you to join us again next time for another edition of Calling Farmers.
A production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.
The station that makes you feel good.
I love the station. I think it's great.
My station.
Moving.
My station.
Moving. Moving.
Keep it right here. Keep it right here.
Bass FM, keep listening.
What should a taxi service do for you? On-Time Taxi Service is more than just a ride to the other side of town. They offer clean and spacious vehicles, reliable service, and promise to always look out for their customers. They'll come when you call and take you where you want to go on time.
We are something special on the road. A great nation deserves a great radio station. 100.5 Best FM for the good of all Jamaicans.
Hello there. Hello there. Yes, indeed. This is the prophet, Reverend Mark Stewart, inviting each and every one of you to join us for war. It's going to be a war this and every Wednesday. Of course, it's going to be hot. It's going to be powerful. Come for the word. Come for the preaching. Come for the teaching. Of course, the music. And of course, midnight warfare prayer with me, the prophet Mark Stewart, the boss shot, Apostle Marshall, Reverend Eric Box, and of course, Reverend Kathy and Thames. For the hard way. Join us every Wednesday night from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. Come and join us, will you? Sponsored by all our partners, our friends of the ministry. Will you join us? Yes, indeed. It's going to be powerful. This and every Wednesday, 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. We're going to lick it till the bus gone. We're going to lick it till the bus gone. We're going.
Veg Printers for all your printing needs. We specialize in calendars, flyers, brochures, and more. Call us today at 968-7506. That's 968-7506. Or visit us at 4 East Bloomsbury Road, off Hagley Park Road. Veg Printers, your best choice in printing.
It's good. It's better. But nothing beats. Best.
Good morning and welcome back to the Morning Connection. So, for the Christmas, we are not thinking about self, we are thinking about environment. That's where we are looking at, what's coming. At the start of the pandemic, there were some pronouncements that I made based on my own understanding of things and the revelation I had. One of them was that those who are relying on the tourism business would do way better in the future investing in boutique-style hotels, small properties. Persons are going to want to have more control over the environment in which they stay because the issues relating to COVID, social distancing, and the hygienic controls and so on are much easier to observe if you're in a villa or if you're in a small apartment or and of course, I also think that the vacation habits would change and persons may come now for those who used to do 3-4 days may try to make the time to do a week or two simply because the amount of planning and effort that goes into taking a vacation, you might as well, do it for an extended time. All right. So we are areas of the world for long stays or to live. All right. Anthony, I hadn't, of course, read Anthony Clayton's papers and his thoughts on what's coming, but where did we leave? Climate change disasters such as the mega fires in California, Canada, Siberia, and Australia, and the floods in Europe and China will become increasingly frequent and severe. Eventually, large parts of the Earth's surface will become uninhabitable, either flooded or else too hot and arid to support life, forcing humanity into the remaining temperate zones. In the largest forced migration in history, countries that had been spared the worst effects of rising temperatures will try to close their borders to the millions being driven out of their own countries. And these are the moments in which you are grateful that you are an island society, because an island is you have to you have to cross water to enter and or to leave. So it is way easier to handle border control issues when it is an island. What does that mean for us? If we are, I'm not one to plan against the threat of war for Jamaica, because I think Jamaica will continue to occupy a place as in the hearts of the
And
world,
people, yeah, man.
the people. We will be a place of renewal, relaxation, rest. And I think as we develop our tourism product, we should be, a long time ago, many of us were saying, let's focus a bit on having places for health tourism. So persons can come here specifically for health-related relaxation, restoration. Those are areas in which you can safely invest going into the future, because the demand for that is only going to keep growing and growing. He says we are not yet at the point of no return. There is still time to avert the worst of these disasters, but this will require restructuring much of the world economy with the largest and most extensive set of reforms in history. This would include rebuilding much of the world's energy infrastructure, automating transport, redesigning cities, and investing in new technologies for producing food and managing water. Now, in today's paper, I believe there is a statement from the Railway Corporation chair or executive manager, whatever he is. He says there that he has a plan to build a metro transport system connecting the major towns in the city area. I think, like you said, Papine, Halfway Tree. But it's a metro rail that would traverse the metropolitan area. The price tag for it, he says, $30 million US. And Minette, who is very facetious when it pleases her, says that's like 10% of the cost of the yacht.
Yeah, but
I
not
think-
only that,
yes.
$249 million for a bypass that is 10 kilometers, which only takes cars out of Montego Bay proper.
All right, that is a better comparison.
Yes,
actually.
no, but I'm just saying, he says
That's
30,
a better comparison.
30
yes.
million. So I would say if the government, because most of our population is in the
Absolutely.
KMR,
These are the
and
densely populated areas.
And if you put $30 million US and solve a significant portion of the transport,
Two in terms of
so that's
harmful
why
emissions.
so that's why I'm saying, when you look at policy decisions,
Mhm.
and we went to the
Alumina partners.
no, not Cap. No, when they went to
not that Cap?
Glasgow, when they went to Glasgow for that.
Okay.
It's the CAAP
26. 26? Right.
Yeah.
Man, when you say CAP, I just think Alumina
No,
partners.
that's what it is. The climate change conference that happened.
Yes.
And you make certain pronouncements. You have to take into consideration all of what they're asking, and how does that translate in terms of policy. Now, if what this gentleman has said is 30 million,
He said 30 million
would
US
have
dollars.
that in that, because most of your population is in Kingston, and because I look at it every day now, we, in terms of individual, like to own our own cars, but in countries that are progressing, that are moving, they invest heavily in the transportation system in the metropolis so people can get to work quickly. Because I remember I was in the States one time and I stayed with a company and with a family, and what he did, he drove to a place and then took the train into work and then came back.
Mhm.
And I'm saying, okay,
Yeah.
instead of congesting the city, that's what they did.
Yeah,
you know?
I have friends in London who only use the car on the weekends. You
Yeah.
park the car and then you
It's a metro.
Right. So in today's paper is where I saw it. This is the Gleaner. Today's publication. Schoolers train on track for January 3 start. More than 400 students on state welfare are set to be brought to school under the Back on Track Transportation Initiative just in time for the start of the new academic year. There is a rail service that is going to move them from Old Harbour and Linstead to Spanish Town, and then they would connect to 3 JUTC buses that will be deployed to the respective schools. Now, that's the kind of thinking that we admire and the kind of initiative. One, we want our children to be transported safely, and if you can move 400 children in relative comfort at a reasonable cost, that is a good thing. What we are talking about here, or certainly what I am advocating, is that as citizens, we begin to look for those initiatives that are meant to reduce the strain on the environment and to replace the archaic transportation models that are harmful to the environment, creating some of the havoc on the road when you think of all the deaths in the fatalities, let's call it that, the fatalities on the road, and we look at how we are planning for the future, because we are seeking to preserve what we have for ourselves and then for the future generations. So it is in that article or that story that Mr. Hansen, Donald Hansen, general manager of the JRC, made the comment. He says, "I believe this is the start of something great," adding that he had a vision of a metro service in Kingston linking Papine, Manor Park, Halfway Tree, and Crossroads. "We mapped out the route already. We just need funding," he added. "And the bill for that build-out would be $30 million US. All right. And then he goes on to talk about what would need to address. "Most bridges from Gregory Park to Kingston are in need of repair," said Hansen. Looking at the bridges, and those are the things that we as citizens need to take an interest in and follow up. If those in the rural areas who are part of the food supply, the chain, if they are not able to produce efficiently and get their things to market, the cost goes up all around. Yesterday, I got 4 little pieces of yam. I bought it in your neighborhood. Yes.
But they didn't ask me for buy it for you, because
4 little pieces of yam for $1,400.
All right, I could have tell you a bit.
Yes. And when I went home, one of them, when you cut it was, yeah.
But I tell you,
good.
as somebody who you tell them, let me cut the yam and see what it is. Yes. I don't know what is under the skin.
I forget that you're the expert. I never even get out of the car to buy it.
No, it's all right.
Because an oncoming motorist did give us some serious bad eye. We didn't want to get out of the car. All right. Welcome, Michael Cohen. I love what you're saying. Years ago, he is reminding us, a ferry service was also touted as an efficient way to transport people and cargo. Nothing happened. Back to being an island. Listen to me.
That's what a lot of islands do.
Of course, that's what they do.
And
That's how you travel between the U.S. Virgin Islands and British Virgin Islands. There's a ferry. I mean, it takes you maybe 45 minutes or so, and you're delivered in good.
No, but the thing was to move cargo from Kingston
and
to
take
the pressure off the roads in terms of the thing. But you see, this is where government leadership now has to take the initiative. Because you have some serious lobbying going on, in terms of the people who are heavily invested in those kind of companies.
Old way of doing things.
Yeah, and to think to say, this is where we go in and give them reason enough to change. But it's part of the thing that we need to do.
As I'm inviting this discussion, persons need to look at what the new head of the IDB is saying, as he dismisses the country manager, who I think did not do a good job. No secret.
And he said,
she didn't do a good job.
And what he has said is, we're not only into lending, we're in terms of investment and growth. Which means that you allow for the people in the country to thrive, to prosper.
And it means too that the kinds of lending and the where you put your money becomes critical. All right, the countries that anticipate and prepare for these changes will not only give themselves some measure of protection, they will also be able to strengthen their position and standing in the world. This is not a contest that will necessarily be won by today's large and powerful nations, but by the best led and most agile countries. Here are some of the key areas for action. The first one is sustainable buildings. First, new developments in Jamaica's cities should be designed to support the models of urban living required to deliver energy, water, and resource efficiency. Water and resource efficiency. Okay. Minimize environmental impact and footprints, generate employment opportunities, encourage social integration and cohesion, and use better design to make cities pandemic resistant with the remodeling of homes, offices, and public spaces to allow distributed working and social distancing. City ordinances and building codes can be revised to ensure that buildings are highly energy efficient and have built-in recovery loops for water and other materials. The move to fabricator-based manufacturing should allow cities to develop an internal industrial base, reducing the volume of freight, while autonomous vehicles, telecommuting, and distributed modes of working would significantly reduce both the need to commute and the number of vehicles on the roads. A big mouthful there, but let's talk about sustainable buildings and
Sustainable
focus for
development.
a moment on another discussion that is taking place on other pages of our life. There are a number of developers who have initiated developments in communities that are already under stress, and it is apparent from the reaction of the existing residents that those developments are neither welcome nor are they well planned. And if nothing else, the protests from those communities indicate that his wife is a developer, and one or two developments, or certainly I know of one development for which she is responsible that is currently the subject of litigation. And it makes the whole business of how these things are addressed so much more sensitive. On the front page today, there is the talk about conflict of interest concerning a particular chairman, the chairman of Heart.
Heartache.
Yeah. When I saw the heartache, I didn't realize the pun until I realized
What was
who he
happening?
was.
Because,
Yes.
yeah, Mr. Gabidon.
So
and it
Mr.
was raised in
Gabidon, who is the
Parliament
chairman of
yesterday.
who is the chairman of Heart.
Yeah.
I think it's the same Mr. Gabidon who is the chairman of the SMA.
Yes.
Spectrum Management Authority. It looks like Edward Gabidon. Same. I think so. Regardless, Mr. Gabidon's position as a main supplier to Heart and as someone who apparently, as chair, some very well provisioned staff retreat was
question
carried out
was
on his
raised.
watch at the cost of $5 million, which the PM says is in keeping with current cost.
No, but somebody says, but Heart owns Heart Runaway.
Yes, which is
and
a
it
nice,
is a wonderful
it's a nice
facility.
place.
We've
I've been
stayed
there.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I said, why I've never do the retreat there, so
Don't want the staff to poison them. Depending on who you are, you don't want to go there. If you've been a good board, you should be happy to go to your own place where they would honor you and look after you wonderfully. But maybe they had concerns about going to their own hotel.
But I can tell you that when other people have used it for retreats.
Yes,
and
of
it's
course.
excellent.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
service
yeah.
is excellent.
I
and
know James Samuels had gone there for a spell, and when he left, it was way better than before. It is a nice little boutique
Yeah, man,
property.
and they've invested
And
into
they
it.
could have gone there, but they chose not to. And they chose not to for whatever reason. They chose not to. But the issue of conflict
Of interest is what
is
is
what
at the heart
is
of
at
it.
the heart of it. And I raise that because at the same point, issues of conflict frequently arise when you have these major issues under discussion. You talk about sustainable buildings, you talk about the model for building new communities, and we see that NEPA, the different parish councils are doing one thing and the citizens are saying one thing. Many years ago, I participated, on behalf of a client, I objected to the building of a hotel next to Miami Bay. In Miami Bay, I think the objection of that very important citizen of the area, this is a very well-resourced businessman, leader of a prince of this land, who owns a villa in the Miami Bay community. And the villa is kept ready for his use whenever he's in the air, but he doesn't live there. And he paid for lawyers to attend at the parish council meeting and argue the objections to the
It
application
was just
for
being a
permission.
selfish man. What's in the way of progress? It must stop in progress.
Well, I tell you, he stopped it for about 10 years.
But him stop progress and the jobs and the construction jobs
No,
that would
it
have
is.
happened.
It
And
is. So let me tell you how I did the objection. How I did the objection was to look at the environmental planning reports, look at the areas which ought to take and or ought to make adequate provision for the harmonious coexistence of hotel and villa. And all the areas where it was lacking, I just pummeled it, pulled at it, had our own engineers and experts, because if you don't invest
sustainable
and grow,
development.
it is ensuring that it is done in a way that preserves the harmonious coexistence of the different elements of society. So it's about consultation and as inclusive an approach to consultation
It's
as you can take.
consensus.
And it is the consultation that will achieve consensus. And it's about the application of technical competence in all the right areas so that that process of consultation will produce useful results.
We need jobs.
And
we need
one
jobs.
of the things that's not
And it's
happening
people
here.
like you from university, who have all of this high-floated information that is stopping the progress of our nation.
Because we're not putting it to work.
You're not putting to work, or you're objecting on some flimsy foolishness.
But I think when built, who notices that there's a hotel there now? Very discreetly
But you
located.
hear what I'm saying?
Yeah, but you see, it's very discreetly located. I mean, you drive through Miami Bay, and even the way they because there were issues like that.
Mhm.
It was not meant. The idea was to preserve the dignity and the charm of the community with whatever you're putting there, and to ensure also that the private villas would not be deprived of their beach access because of how the hotel is.
You're raising a whole lot of
Yeah.
issues in terms of that. But
I
I'm
know
saying,
it's a bit of a mouthful,
We-
and
we-
it's a big area. I know we'll do it. We'll probably
a
talk
bigger
about this
issue
more than
here.
once.
This is why you have brain drain.
Mhm.
Because you go to university, you study these things, and then you work in these government departments, or you might work externally, and they say, but based on the knowledge that we have accumulated, if you do it this way,
Yes.
it works out better, it is more sustainable. But if you work in a department and you are making a recommend, having your PhD, and you keep getting
Shut
the
down.
policy shut down, you
Yeah.
say, then always I'm wasting my time. Let me go somewhere that
Man,
I'm appreciate.
you take to the streets and you start talking about it.
You
And
start
you
talking
plan-
about
you-
it.
you plan
and
public consultations.
And then blacklist you and so on.
Yeah.
This is at the heart
And
of
these
it.
are
you
the
know.
things that
This is
require
at the heart
change.
of This is at the heart of it, where we believe that with consultation and with inclusiveness, we'll get consensus. And
But
we
I-
need to move beyond. We need to, in terms of our planning, we have to think beyond the 5-year cycle of elections.
Yes.
And
Critical.
that is important. I remember when you raised the thing in regards to lust of the flesh, lust of the eyes,
Pride of
pride
life.
of life, and then one of our listeners had called in to say, you see, that thing is important because all the electorate are thinking about is the lust of the flesh. I want to eat a
Short-term
food
planning.
now.
Yeah,
I
very
want a
short-term.
10,000. And even as we go into elections, which are due in the parish council, we as a people have now to begin to say, no.
We have to have deeper vision.
Yeah, we have the deeper vision in terms of what it is that we want for our nation, with all of the things that are pushing
Because
down on us.
we have an obligation to preserve for future generations.
Yeah.
We are being reminded that it's time to take the 7:30 break. Please
time
stay
for
with us.
prayer.
This is the Morning Connection. And when we return, please put on your prayer shawl. We're going to
Put on
pray.
your prayer frock.
We'll be right back.
Looking to clean your vehicle super clean? 123 Clean Car Wash, located at 2 1/4 Osborne Road, Kingston 10. Entrance on Grove Road, below Tropical Battery. They wash and vacuum, undercarriage wash, engine wash, polish and compound, shampoo and detailing. Call them at 876-631-3400. 123 Clean Car Wash, the best in the business for a cleaner wash.
Believe me, it's so easy. 1, 2, 3.
The station that makes you feel good.
I love the station. I think it's great.
My station.
Moving.
My station.
Moving. Moving.
Keep it right here. Keep it right here.
Best FM. Keep listening.
Half a tree, 100, half a tree. Bossy. How you do I take taxi star?
Jano, I want to tell you, say, at 2 months now, my transmission mash up, and I check everybody and can't hear nothing positive.
Yeah, hear me? Yeah, waste all that time I shop around and never call the experts. Winters Auto have them. Them have over 35 years of experience and them diagnose the problem and get back your transmission brand new. For them service excellent and efficient. Trust me, man. Yeah, hear me? Call them at 929-7040 or go to them at 106 Maxfield Avenue, Kingston 13 and talk directly to the boss. Just tell them I'm me, senior.
You big star. Yeah, man. Respect my boss.
Yeah, try and call him, cause trust me.
Winters Auto Spares and Repairs, good afternoon.
What a relief.
Greetings. Bitter Sugar returns to Best FM Wednesdays, 6 to 8 p.m. Once more.
Isn't it strange how princesses and kings?
It's good. It's better. But nothing beats.
Good morning, welcome back. We are at that half an hour in our very, very important morning connection. And this time I am switching it up for you. I'm trying to teach you a couple of things in terms of prayer. As my friend says, when you go to prayer, you're not begging. You are because you're in relationship, you are speaking on behalf of the covenant and the promise that he has with you. And earlier this morning, we had opened up with just talking about the importance of praise in terms of how that helps us in regards to winning the victory that we need to have in the situation. We continue to declare in terms of all of the things that are happening to us, that we will not become a persons who are led by fear, but we are led by our faith in a God who is above every circumstance and situation, knows the beginning from the end, and through the process is empowering us and causing us to become more than conquerors, according to Romans 8 and verse 28. And for those of us who have your Bible, 2 Chronicles 20 gives us an account of what happened. And it ended up with the people receiving an instruction which says that, hear, O Judah, hear, O Jamaica, and you inhabitants of Jamaica, believe and trust in the Lord your God, and you will be established secure. Believe and trust in his prophets and succeed. When he had consulted with the people, he appointed those who sang to the Lord and those who praised him in their holy attire. They went out before the army and said, praise and give thanks to the Lord, for his mercy and loving kindness endure forever. When they began singing and praising, the Lord set ambushes against the enemy who had come against Jamaica, so they were struck down in defeat. For the sons of Ammon and Moab rose up against the inhabitants. So when you praise, you know what God does? Cause confusion to happen. The people have come against you to defeat you. He begins to cause ambush and confusion in their camp, and they'll begin to turn on each other. So this morning we come in praise and thanksgiving. So this morning, in terms of you hearing my voice, we're doing it in song. And we begin with Jermaine Edwards. It's a beautiful day, giving thanks for the fact that we're alive. Then followed up by We Bring the Sacrifice of Praise by Alvin Slaughter. Then Thanks by Alvin Slaughter. And then we close out with Kevin Downswell saying, it is already done. So join in our praise. Put your praise on this morning, as my thing was beginning to do. Hallelujah.
Say this morning I woke up and I looked in the mirror and every part of my body was in place. Many people died and never saw this day. So another day
I live, I appreciate. Don't ever wanna act too high and mighty, cause tomorrow I can fall down on my face. So in everything, Lord, I give you praise, and that puts a smile on my face. Lord, I thank you for sunshine, thank you for rain, thank you for joy, thank you for pain. It's a beautiful day, beautiful day, beautiful day. Don't fuss and fight, let us unite. We got one life, oh, it's a beautiful day. Yeah, it's a beautiful day. So yeah, though I walk through the valleys of the shadows of death, I will fear no evil, won't be dismayed. When I see the clock ticking away and things are not in place, everything in life happens for a reason. Disappointment comes with a lesson. It's for me to get wiser, got to work harder. In the end, it will get better. Lord, I thank you for sunshine, thank you for rain, thank you for joy, thank you for pain. It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. Please don't fuss and fight. Let us unite. Let us unite. So let's make it right. It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. If you got life, then give God praise. You may not have money, but you're living day by day. You can't have faith and don't want to work. Get up off that seat and put that brain to. Lord, I lift a song of worship for your glory and your grace. Let my heart reveal all my words fail to say. Lord, receive this sacrifice of praise.
Lord, I lift a song.
Lord, I lift
Yes, I do.
a song of worship
For
your
your
glory
glory,
and your grace.
let my heart
Reveal all my words fail to say.
Lord, receive
this sacrifice of praise.
Sing with us all the in the valley, Skyway in the secret place. I will trust. Yes, I will.
Trust in the name of the Lord. Now receive.
Now receive. Yes. Oh.
Now receive this sacrifice of
You're my shield, my shelter from every storm. Lord, you shelter me from the rain. Cover me, beneath the shadow of your wings. Lord, receive, receive. Lift your voice, sing hallelujah. Everyone sing hallelujah. Lift your hands and sing hallelujah.
simply carry on through life's toils and tests, the worst and best, never left alone. You see, always right beside me, he hears me when I pray. And since I first began, you've been my dearest friend. We give you all the praise. So we come to Lee College to say thanks. Thank you, Lord. Yes, we do. For all you done. But you see, I am so blessed that my soul is at rest. Oh, Lord, I give you thanks. Oh, yeah. Even in the valley, when everything's going wrong, even on the mountain, your loving presence makes me strong. See, each and every moment, and each and every day, I'm gonna sing and shout to when the rocks cry out. I give you all the praise. We're gonna say, yes we will. Yes I will, yeah. For all that you have done for me. To see, I am so blessed, yeah, and my soul is, yes, it is, yeah. We came for one purpose, and to give you thanks. Thank you, Lord. Hey, you know I will, Lord, for all that you've done. See, I am so blessed. And my soul the rest. Yeah. You see, I wanna thank you. I wanna thank you. Yes, I will. For all you've done. You made a way for me. And I am so blessed. And my soul the rest. Yeah. I wanna thank you right here and now. Yeah. You're so worthy. I gotta say to give you praise for that, yeah. Oh Lord, and oh Lord, I give you praise. Yeah, hallelujah. Hallelujah! Hallelujah!
Can we be honest with you? I don't know who you are, and I don't know where you are. But God said to tell you, it's already done. My friend, you're coming out. You're coming out.
God is speaking.
I see you wondering why me in the midst of your adversity.
God is speaking.
But if you dare trust in me, I will supply all you need. I will take you over. I will take you over. I will never leave. To you I will cleave. I'm standing right there in the midst of your fair. I will be your brother, man. Stay close to me, my son. It's already done. It's already done. The victory is won. It's already done. I will not die here, even though I've cried here. The victory is won. It's already done. Ryan, man. I have to ask why me? Why they took my family? Oh, yeah. And when the world is falling on my shoulders, yes, I fall on my knees. Whoa, Lord, take me over. Please take me over. Please do not leave. To you I will cling. You said it's done, then it's already done. I will not die here, even though I've cried here. The victory is won, 'cause you said it's won. Now, I'm a running, but sometimes I don't feel like running. Keep pressing, though sometimes you don't feel like pressing. Keep your eyes on me, will you trust in me? I will be with you to the end. It's already done, it's already done. The victory is won, it's already done. I will not die here, even though I've cried here. The victory is won, it's already done. It's already done, it's already done. The victory is won. No matter what, it's already done. You're gonna get over this. Don't give up. With Christ, you're more than a conqueror. Finish well. My brother, Ryan Ma.
Finish well. A different change, a different thing, but I hope you've been listening to the words, the lyrics of the songs. Take it through the gamut of praise. What it does for us. It's already done. You say, my friend, we operate from a place of victory because he has revealed in his word what his intention towards us as his people are. Even though we're going through, and even though you're going through circumstances, remember you fight from a place of victory. It is already done. Be encouraged this morning in our time of prayer. And thank you for being with us this week in terms of the fast. If you want to report some victory of one, some people, it may have become like the pressure turn up, as somebody would say, but we're coming out. We are coming out. Go ahead, my sister.
No, you ended. That's my testimony. Sacrifice of praise. That was my participation in the process this morning. As we continue to do the work that we're doing here, and I shouldn't say work because if we read Karl Marx, we'll know that man hate work.
Yeah, man hate work.
Work is an unnatural activity for man. Our spirit rejects it. But what we're doing here, the ministry that we have, I think it is having impact. And you know, for me, if one person say what you said meant something to me, that's impact.
Yeah.
I don't need 100,000 people. It's wonderful. The more people who are blessed by what we're doing, clearly, then you know that is a good thing. But I don't do it because I'm trying to get to 100,000 people. I do it because I want to get to one.
Yeah.
One person. If you tell me, like the morning when you know a sister called in and said, wow, when she heard me say, I don't beg, she reflected on something that came into her spirit in a moment when there was a conversation going on. And the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. And she tore it out and she wrote it on a piece of paper and she put it in a frame. Because it is so true. If you can just step into that place where you believe and you accept it, it means that when a man throws something at you and think he's killing you, you receive it and know that it is the key to your greater survival.
Yeah, right. And
you
even
have to develop that and as the producer rose to remind us, like the crucifixion of Christ.
they think it was done.
They were drinking champagne and sharing up the spoils, only to discover that they had actually opened the door to something greater.
Right.
You know, as the music was playing, I envisioned something that I'm just excited to share it. Coming out of the conversation before, you know, just quoting from Professor Clayton. He's a professor?
Yeah,
Dr.
Professor
Clayton, whatever.
Anthony Clayton.
Anthony Clayton.
He's coming on tomorrow.
He has confirmed?
He's confirmed.
Okay.
Interview probably more by telephone than in person, but we saw that works out. And then we have two guests lined up tomorrow. And then on the other side of it, we're lining up a lady of the soil who has just decided to help.
I love how you put it, a lady of the soil.
Jamaican. She's Jamaican.
Like a
by
man
way.
of the cloth?
Yes,
She's
yes,
the-
a lady of the soil who has just decided
A
to
soiled
help.
lady.
Yeah, but
My
no,
favorite
no,
kind.
no, no. A lady of the soil. I know you're
Pastor, I'm messing with you.
I know
I'm
you're messing with me.
you.
But this lady, just to highlight, she has set up a foundation and she's doing work under the glare of public thing. And it just started with living in the States and just starting getting stuff.
So
And it
you're
has-
touching on my diaspora
yeah,
issue,
my
which is
diaspora
wonderful
wonderful. Yeah,
because
she's a part of the
we're in the
diaspora,
same,
but she
we're in the
wants to
same
give back,
vein.
and she's come back to help. And she said what she said, water more than flour. There's an expression of somebody I know, but I'm gonna do what I can.
All right, so you've drawn us into talking about tomorrow, which we need to do,
Yeah.
and we'll do it hopefully a few times before
Yeah.
the morning is over. Of course, we're going to be at the Ligony Club, and Professor Clayton will join us by phone or in person, whichever way,
Right.
to build on our understanding of what we're talking about here. How you, as Pastor say, a child of the soil, lady of the soil,
Yes.
how we as people of dirt
Yes.
can participate in protecting the dirt.
No.
I am paraphrasing, but you will always remember that we have an obligation to protect the
To be a
environment.
part of the change.
So we'll have someone who is working in the area, and we'll tell you a little bit more about who Anthony Clayton is, Professor of Caribbean Sustainable Development at the University of the West Indies.
Yeah.
And clearly too a journalist because he
Right.
writes about it. And who is the other person we're having? Tomorrow is your day.
Tomorrow's our day.
Well, thank you for including me.
No, tomorrow's our day. The
But
lady,
no, you have lined up a really nice program.
lady-
So.
but the lady that I'm speaking about, she set up a foundation that is working in inner city community all over the country.
So
Just
it's
bring
those
it
two
to
persons
that we have
as
tomorrow.
well as yours truly.
Yeah.
We of course will take you through the morning.
Mhm.
So that's for tomorrow, courtesy of our friends at the Ligony Club at Carmen's Corner and JD's Urban Pub.
With their
What with their delicious local
the
food.
food, yes.
All right, I envisioned something.
Yes.
While the music was playing. I was thinking, reflecting some more on where we need to be as citizens, contemplating the changes that have to take place to prepare both the environment and the people for all that is going on now, pandemic aside, but, acknowledging that changes are afoot. And you know what I saw? I saw someone in China sending something to Jamaica, an item to Jamaica, and it's neither shipped by air or by sea. 3D printing. In Jamaica, you have a storehouse with the different components that would go into the printer. And in China, the man who owns the patent, the design, the right to the product, enters the particulars, and by virtue of the internet transmission facilities, it is printed in Jamaica. Just imagine you take your car and they say it needs a part, and the part needs to come from Germany, and it takes 6 weeks. But all that needs to happen is you send a request to Germany, and Germany sends back the design directly to the computer which is in Jamaica, the printer that is in Jamaica, and it prints the part. All right.
That's
It
something
will
that
be.
CMU has, they have the technology there.
3D printing.
And
Yes,
training
but
people.
it is much the same way that right now today you can have someone perform a surgical procedure on you remotely if you are in the right place with the right equipment. The future is now.
The future
That's what
is-
I'm saying.
the future is
And
bright.
we need to create the infrastructure that makes it possible for us to do these things. Now, understand what happens when you can teleport. When you can teleport goods from one place to the next by merely using the codes that are critical to the design and function of it. You cut out the ship, you cut out the airport and the customs and the various things, And all you need to do is ensure that you have a means of paying value. And how will you do that? You can pay by way of an NFT or non-fungible token. You can pay by way of any kind of cryptocurrency of your desire, or you can simply barter. There's something that you can send to the remote location that is a requisite exchange of value. Brave new world. We talk about the digital tech economy, and we obviously have to talk about digital literacy, because you've got to be able to navigate those quarters. All right.
When we're coming up to the break.
We are at the break, not
We are at
coming
the
up.
break.
I've got the sign and I'm going to be obedient. Let's take our break. It's 8 o'clock. When we return, we'll open the lines.
New things are happening.
And then I will intersperse
Some
some more
headlines.
about the preparation for the future. Naturally, we can't complete it all in one day. We'll just take small bites at it until we feel like we're full enough to produce something, and hopefully it's not excrement.
We'll be right back.
Hello, I'm Chris Barrow with the BBC News. Germany's new Chancellor Olaf Scholz has said his country faces the biggest economic transformation in at least a century to tackle climate change. He was setting out his government's priorities in Parliament, having taken over from his predecessor Angela Merkel last week. Mr. Scholz said Germany had committed to becoming a climate neutral by 2045. Our correspondent in Berlin, Jenny Hill, has the details.
These are really ambitious plans for tackling climate change that his government is proposing. 2030 is a big date. By then, they want to try and phase out coal. By then, they want 80% of Germany's electricity requirements to come from renewables. He also wants to put 15 million electric cars on the roads. And Mr. Scholz sort of trying to say, he doesn't want people to be put out of
society. He called This is the world news from the BBC. President Putin has denounced a diplomatic boycott of the Beijing Olympic Games in February, spearheaded by the US during a call with the Chinese leader Xi Jinping. The US and 5 other countries are not sending political delegations to the Games in protest at China's mass incarceration of Muslim Uyghurs in Xinjiang and its repression of democracy in Hong Kong. An Iranian human rights group based outside the country says more than a dozen women have been executed in Iran this year under a legal system which they say does not take into account extenuating circumstances. Iran Human Rights, which is based in Norway, says that most of the women who've been executed were convicted of the killing of a husband or of a partner. A court in Sri Lanka has freed on bail a 27-year-old poet and teacher detained without charge since May last year. Arnaf Jazim, from the country's Muslim minority, was held under the sweeping Prevention of Terrorism Act. Rights groups and Mr. Jazim's supporters denied the authorities' allegations that he promoted extremism through his poetry. His lawyer says Mr. Jazim was made to sign false confessions and was subjected to inhuman treatment. Firefighters in Hong Kong have extinguished a blaze that had trapped more than 100 people on the roof of a skyscraper. The fire broke out on a lower level of the World Trade Center in the Causeway Bay shopping district. Martin Yip was at the scene.
It took around 4 hours for the firefighters to extinguish the flame in this building. Some 1,300 people were evacuated according to the police. A dozen of them were injured and sent to hospital. Some 300 of them were initially trapped on the rooftop of the building. In quite a drama, but the firefighters soon arrived by raising a ladder and start leading them to safety.
Martin Yip. And that's the latest BBC News.
The station that makes you feel good.
I love the station. I think it's great.
My station.
Moving.
This is my station.
Moving. Keep it right here. Keep it right here.
Bass FM, keep listening.
One in. A hurricane we name. Are we rough? Whether we are man hurricane or woman hurricane. We want you to know that. We come here to mash up building, blow down things and take life. Flood out place. We no ramp. We no respect no one. So no take no chance.
The music. And keep your radio locked in.
The best 100 FM.
Tune in to Best 100 FM. Join me, your host, Minute Lawrence, on the Morning Connection, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every Monday to Thursday. Get ready.
This serves a great radio.
Hey, this is Apostle Chevon Lawrence, and I'll be on Best FM every Thursday at 9 p.m. with a program that is called Purpose Can't Die. In this season, you should win. In this season, it's your winning season. You don't want to miss it. Apostle Chevon Lawrence from Refuge Kingdom Deliverance Ministry will be on the air. This is your time to move into your goal.
Oh, in my purpose, the Lord has prepared for me.
Veg Print is for all your printing needs. We specialize in calendars, flyers, brochures, and more. Call us today at 968-7506. That's 968-7506. Or visit us at 4 East Bloomsbury Road, off Hagley Park Road. Veg Printers, your best choice in printing.
It's good. It's better, but nothing beats.
Good morning and welcome back to the Morning Connection. We're opening the lines now. We know we owe you plenty time because yesterday we were not able to have the usual conversation. So we're opening it up pretty much right away. That's so, my brother engineer? Yes? Yes? All right. So it's done. The other part of the article written by Professor Clayton, Anthony Clayton, deals with the issue of resilience. Now, this is something that we've been having to take to the streets in protest with the little strength they had left. Food. The Disaster Risk Management Act requires us to have stores located island-wide, equipped with the necessary resources to take care of our people during times of disaster. And to date, I have not heard of one such store opening its doors. We have not even worked out with any kind of economy and efficiency how to get supplies to persons who are severely affected during the kinds of disruptions which now occur. And that's a very troubling reality, something we need to address. And this covers now securing the supply of food, so the planting, and remember now that crops and so on will be disrupted. So we have to include some level of agro-processing and storage so that we can have continuous supplies in and out of season. These are things which need critical, urgent attention at the community level. If I don't see it at the community level, I will not be convinced that it is really taking place. Because the communities, that's where the people live. And if where we live, we don't see the reality of the things that we need. We still have issues with water supply in some communities. So there are just some very big ticket items that require attention. And those are the things that we need to be clamoring for. We're seeing the kind of investment. Earlier, Pastor said that, that 294 billion, whatever. The large ticket item to put in additional, 10 kilometers of roadway to bypass Montego Bay. Yes, it's very inconvenient to be caught up in the traffic there, but at the moment, should we be looking at putting in a ferry service in case the roads collapse and we still need to move people and cargo? Those are just some critical things. Someone online has said we need a ferry service to the airport. Those are critical things that we need to deliberately take some decisions on those. First caller of the morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
Yes, good morning to you both.
Morning, sir.
And season greetings.
Also to you.
I hope your journey is well, and we will resolve to do better come January 1 that we have done so far this year.
We have to start doing better now, my brother. We have to start doing better now. Can't wait until January.
All right,
we
practice it now.
We practice it now.
Perfect it for January. How are you?
Yeah, well, I'm well enough. a little bit, you know, off balance with the imbalance we have in the society. Yeah.
You do have any heartache this morning?
Beg your pardon?
You do have any heartache this morning?
What kind of cake?
Heartache. I'm saying you do have any heartache this morning.
The phone is not working too well now. I must apologize.
My brother, share with us what you...
Pastor?
I didn't get that.
No, go ahead and share with us.
Ask that question again.
I said, do you have any heartache this morning? Heartache.
Heartache?
Yeah.
No. I'm trying to work in the system that doesn't arise.
Okay then, good for you.
In connection to the point to be made about what the provision in the pandemic. Oh Lord.
In the Constitution?
No. The arrangements to have supplies available for people
yes.
who need it.
Yes.
Regardless of what it says in the provisions of the
Disaster Risk Management Act.
My suggestion would be that they employ a voucher system and people can secure the supplies at the
whichever
outlets all over the place.
That's good.
Corner shop, wholesale, and supermarkets.
So you're saying a virtual store?
I consider that way more efficient. The supplies are out there, and where it would be needed, all you need to do is turn up with a voucher for X number of dollars, and you purchase what you need, excluding certain items, of course.
Spoken like a true city man.
Beg your pardon?
You have spoken like a true man of the city.
Of the city?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Because in the city you have any number of wholesales and shops and places that are well stocked.
Yeah.
In the rural areas, where, because one of the things you want to make sure is that people don't really have to take public transportation or to drive or go very far to get the supplies. But I think it is a combination of approaches that would be required. In the areas where it works well to have a virtual store, you have a virtual store. In the areas where you have to put things in a storeroom in a church, back office,
no, man,
then that's what you would do.
Use a already distribution chain. They're already. You don't need to go any storehouses. I think you have the supermarkets, you have the wholesale, and you have the corner shops.
Not disagreeing with you in principle. We must always use what we have.
In terms of subsidized supplies now, then you would organize that, and if you have to put in something, so much go to leads, or so much goes to whatever establishment it is, to beef up the supply. But get it there where people are already shopping and have access to. And going there to do things, so you just go in and pick up your little extras by route of your voucher.
Yeah. It will end up just like what happened with the banks who administer development monies. But I do take your point.
Don't put on the blankets. We haven't been here before.
We have to make...
Those who have anything to do with it, if they might want to listen, I might also say, all right, look, try it for 3 months and see.
Yeah, we have to make the adjustments that are necessary to keep the system safe.
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Good. Take care.
Have a
You're
great
having
day.
any special event for the coming up to the holidays?
With your generous contribution, absolutely.
All right. I'll get rid of this frog.
I recommend apple cider vinegar.
Oh, there you go. It goes out and comes back.
Yes. All right.
Is that a subtle message?
But we will be doing something, and we'll talk about it at the appropriate time. Thank you for mentioning
next week sometime.
Yes, we're going to talk about it.
Yeah, all right.
All right, my friend. Thanks very much. All right, so we took care of that frog in the throat. Apple cider vinegar.
Yeah, they have a call on the line, but in today's paper, beyond the heartache, which is related to the upness,
you must say what this story is about.
which a lot of recent violence, that little girl that was killed and so on, because the person was cleaning the gun. It's in that area.
Yeah. Yeah,
And she
right.
said, fix
So
it, fix
no,
it,
the
fix it.
sidewalk is, although green is a beautiful color, but not for the sidewalk. Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
Just like a little child, I would say, hip, 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 hooray. Yes, yes, yes,
You're happy to hear us. Oh, thank you.
yes. Me and Miss Mary, and she'd say, boy, I don't know. And I said, Miss Mary, boy, we go up to point 9.
And couldn't not a whisper.
Yeah, I said, but you see, I was talking to the engineer, and he was saying to me that they were online. But remember,
A lot of people, internet access is not. Yeah. And for 4 hours, even if you have it like that, you probably wouldn't spend all of it.
I don't know if it's a person laugh why them really get so crazy.
I think it's mercy.
Because
you know, but to God be the glory.
Yeah, man.
I tell you,
God be the glory.
It's good to hear you also.
I was, it's now about 5 days I trying to get you to tell you that one of these days I want to go into the Beatitude.
Okay.
Matthew 5.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna do that, man.
Blessed, blessed, blessed.
Blessed, yeah, man.
But we want people out there, because people have Bible and they don't read it.
True.
Yes, this medium can touch a lot of people. That's why we say it's for the voiceless. And there's so many things we can touch on.
Okay.
You know, and I'll go and touch on like a car. Well, for people who are coming. So whenever well, Thursday's a day when it kind of damp the spirit. I listen, but
I know. We soon get it fixed.
the program just, not the same. And, we're just saying, boy.
Without the interaction, I know.
Yeah, but I hope, in time.
No, man, there's a piece of equipment that has been on its way, but
Yeah, in time.
I need a
And
3D
Mr.
printer.
Producer, big up yourself, sir. Yeah, see what you want, smile.
Big up yourself, Mr. Producer.
Yes, sir. So, we're saying good morning, Jamaica. And, there's so much, let us not stop praying. Because that's the only way right now.
Yeah.
Mankind is so treacherous and evil. When you can't see a man just go in a man's farm and take them, tie them up.
Yeah.
And
Kill them. Because of the goats. Yeah, in Sunday yesterday.
What can we say? It's a possible. I don't understand these people, You go there and you say, well, what can I do to make my family comfortable? And you find some way, and them the things that them should do that too.
Yeah.
But them just want to come destroy. But I can say to you, you sit high and you look low. And everything that man do, don't feel no way, you must, MUST, must get paid.
Mm-hmm.
So when that time come,
And what you say there is for individuals to sort of absorb that and know that whatever I have sown, I will reap. It's not even for me looking on to declare it over somebody else. It's for me to recognize that for myself, because that is how I will change my conduct and ensure that I'm sowing good seed.
And the ironic thing
is
that you will do the wrong, but don't forget it's gonna come down. Maybe it even lead on your child, your children.
Yes, yeah.
Please.
That's true.
You know what a good thing for us to just do good. Pastor person, please remember the Beatitude.
Yeah, man, we'll do
All
it.
right,
We'll
sir.
do it.
Thank you for that.
As I always say, you must do right because it is right to do right. But thank you, my brother.
Yes, man.
Yeah, man.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Yeah.
On that note, you'll see what I mean when I say on that note. One of the listeners online has just made a comment here that with the fear mongering about Omicron, the new strain, the tourism industry remain as wide open as back road. Yet the ordinary people are still being corralled and penned like the sheep that we are proving to be, says Straight Shooter. He never pulls his punches, but that is the kind of like the balancing of the scales. that we are pressed to achieve. We're safeguarding public health, but at the same time, we are remaining open for business, and the nature of the business is such that we have to appear to be relaxed and free. So the borders are open for visitors to come in,
Yeah, but
while the citizens have to be constrained in their behavior. It is just a fine balance that we have to walk. Personally, I don't think too much about the what needs to be done for the economy. I just guard my own health. In other words, I'm not looking and saying, well, if they're doing that over there, I need to be doing it too. No. If to do so would put me at risk, I contain myself. And I think that's really what it comes back to. Individuals making that assessment of how they need to conduct themselves in order to stay safe. Those who have to go out to work in the BPOs and in the different places.
just
that
keep
have
yourself safe.
high
Attend
density,
the protocols. Do
do
what you need.
all the things that are needed. If you need to be vaccinated, be vaccinated. If you need to, if for one reason or another you can't be, then do all the other things which your doctors tell you would be necessary to keep safe. I think if we
there's-
always remember that and don't get distracted and feel that because somebody else is doing something, it means I need to be able to do it too.
An important thing that we've not heard,
That's the lust of the eye.
in the whole discussion,
The
in
I
all
and
the
I.
dialogue, is I believe personally, we had 15,000 people. I was just looking at the stats who were home quarantine. We have done in excess of 700,000 tests. Our positivity rate is 3.7%. My question is, what about those persons like myself who have contracted COVID, have recovered from it, because we're in home quarantine?
Natural immunity.
Yeah, I've been not hearing that in the discussion, and I think that.
But who's tracking that?
Dr. Mitchell had said in our thing, the whole thing of with Jamaicans and their remedies at home, early detection, how you use it. How do we
So
treat with that?
you think there's a necessity to track that?
Track what?
Recoveries? The natural immune.
Yeah, because
persons.
if people are, in some countries, natural immunity is deemed as being vaccinated, so it means that you don't have to take vaccine. They reckon it
Oh,
as
so
a-
you're looking back at is it an issue until there's like a mandatory requirement?
Well, I don't know, because in some schools they're tracking things. Something came out to say vaccinated or not, they need to send a copy of the vaccination for the child. So how do you reckon with the child who has have contracted it, been home quarantine? How do you deal with them? Will they be allowed to go back into school? Because even as we speak about that, the Secretary General of CARICOM has posited that vaccine public good outweighs protest. I don't know. That was the headline, but she was saying that, in Antigua, they have mandated vaccination.
Yes, there are some islands with the handful of people that unless you are, let me tell you, to be vaccinated or not is a bit of a academic debate in my view.
Okay.
I think individuals, employers, countries, whatever your situation might be, I think you need to just give due consideration to the needs of your people and address it through discussion and consensus. I think that's what you need to do. I don't believe we're going to find more than maybe 5 or if 5% of the people refuse to take the vaccine is plenty. My view. I think most of us will take a vaccine that we understand and that we understand what it will do and we have a realistic expectation of it. I think informed consent is the governing principle for this, and we just need to work with persons to get to the place that we need to be. That's my view. Spend the time on doing it right. Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
Morning.
Good morning.
I have a little issue I want to address today.
Yeah.
I work with a company in Seawood from Kingston Walk.
Yes.
In 2002. 2003, them say them put bank fragile. Up till now.
Put you on contract? They put you on contract?
No, them put on casual first.
Oh, casual. Right.
Yeah.
So you're no longer full time.
Yeah. Put them on casual for more than 6 years. After 6 years, them still never take off a casual and put on contract.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, the contract, get a 3-year contract first and get injured in the 3-year contract.
Mm-hmm.
Get a spinal injury
Oh.
and a shoulder injury. And you know, so it's chief accountant and a seaboard. Then I said the boss said, "Show me get the surgery. Shop to your feet." Sometimes get the invoice and come back from me then. Chief accountant said, "The boss said, the money too much." And from him tell me that, be a problem. Then he was sick and fire me legally with sickness. Right now, I can't injure me off all the can't move. Get a liar. Liar, say my real panic for me. Over 10 years, the liar have a case right now, and I'm not dead now, you know.
Okay.
We can't manage pain again, nothing.
What
Sick, can't help myself.
All right.
Liar, I have a case over 10 years. I give a pay side years to work, tell me, so 1 to 2 years to say I miss get a mediator, court date. After that, and it passing, tell me, say 4 years to get a high court date. So the man get the money and I go and pay things. And I tell you, signal line, you know, I'm sick, you know. I say I have a back injury, spinal injury. And I can't walk, I can't sleep, night or day. I feel pain all through the time.
All right.
Then money just tell me, lion, I go around.
What I'm going to ask you to do, my brother, because I don't think it would be appropriate to have the discussion with you on air. Can you just give your number to the engineer? Pastor or myself will call you back and just see how we can guide you. Yes. All right. And thank you for listening to the program. I hope some of what we say here give you a little perspective. But well, at least it led you to call us. So.
Every time I listen to the program, and after I listen to Jerry, and the only station is listen straight through the day all day.
Okay. Oh, we thank you. Thank you for the support.
I'm reading up on some research that people were on the station. Believe me. Everybody were on the station. We love everybody on it. Everybody have a cultural perspective for everything that I'm doing.
All right, my brother. Thank you for the support. Andre will take your number. All right, it's time for the break. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.
We'll be right back.
For a better choice in all your electrical supplies, A, authorized 3M dealer and better brand names. B, better service including free island-wide delivery. C, all major credit and debit cards accepted. It's ABC Electrical Sales. Shop number 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10. Open Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Saturday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. We make your electrical jobs as easy as ABC. Call 754-3825.
I love the station. I think it's great.
My station.
Moving. My station.
Moving. Keep it right here. Keep it right here.
Bass FM, keep listening.
It's good. It's better. But nothing beats.
Good morning and welcome back to the Morning Connection. To the caller on hold, welcome.
Morning again. Taking a second bite of the cherry.
Well, it's a small cherry, so bite away.
In terms of what we might do to sort of help ourselves individually, in the family, at home. The immune system. Right? We need to work on the things that we know that will boost it. Right?
Yes.
And, just daily practice. Practice and share, right? Help others to practice too, right? Right around the family or anybody we're in contact with, this or what our activities are.
My brother, that cannot be said too often. Last Thursday when we had Dr. Kimberly Johnson on with us, it was a part of the discussion. Of course, she was emphasizing the need for persons to be vaccinated or to receive that kind of treatment, but on the preventative side and on maintaining the nutrition and the self-care.
All right?
Well, thank you for
We need
calling.
to work, we
calling
need to
back
work
with
on it
that.
daily.
Yes,
All right? All
yes.
of us know things that we need to do or can do are available, and we need to get at the others that you know, are not really available.
Yeah.
All right?
All right. Thank you so much. All right, Pastor, there's something you wanted to say about the economy.
Yeah, I was just saying that EPOC, I don't know what EPOC is. There's the Economic
committee.
Program Oversight, which is chaired by Mr. Jenkins from JMB, Duncan. They were highlighted 4 things. Inflationary expectations continue to increase due to global and local, because we've been saying the target was 4 to 6%, it's 8.6. And then they spoke about the impact of tax revenues were behind budget, primarily due to COVID containment, and the net international reserve, $3.9 billion US. That's a whole lot of money. And they highlighted the vaccination rate, which is under 20% as Jamaica prepares for the 4th wave of the COVID pandemic. I continue to declare on this program consistently we will not have a 3rd or a 4th wave in Jamaica as we do what is right according to ourselves. There's a call on 9, and I remember I cited the study that vaccination rate is there's no correlation between vaccination rate and the infection rate.
Good morning and welcome to the Morning Connection.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, Pastor.
How you doing, my brother?
I'm good, Martin.
We're changing. Things are changing.
Yeah. I want to talk a little bit about Prayer Larson this morning.
Yeah, it's a big thing. See what happened in Westmoreland?
Yeah, man. Now, what I think should be done is that we need to take the agricultural system more serious and more formalize more. It is too informal. What I mean is that you can't just get up tomorrow morning and open a bank and start trading currency. I work with some sort of manufacturer or something without having a license or something like that. So I believe that we should all who are dealing with agricultural product should be licensed. The people that are dealing in buying meat.
So what's the mischief that you're trying to solve? Connect for me the licensing of farmers and Prayer larceny.
Yeah.
All right. When you go to the coronation mark for argument's sake, you should be able to you don't want a man, a little man, to just get up or anybody attack, just get up and go and you see man, anywhere sell some agricultural product. You want to formalize the system.
So there is already a system for registration of farmers, and farmers who are producing for sale need to have a receipt book that is recognized and administered in conjunction with, I think, JAS or the RADA office.
Yeah.
And in truth, it already exists that if you are selling produce, you need to show the receipt of where you got it. And if you're selling meat, you're right, you can't just get up and start to slaughter and sell meat. And of course, there's a public inspection of meat and a stamping of the product. There are systems in place. That's why I asked you what is the mischief and how you would connect the two. Because there is a system in place, and it's not meant to be onerous. Regulation is really not for the unlawful, because the unlawful just ignore regulation.
Yeah, but
so develop the argument a little bit more for me, and so I can understand better.
All right, if we have something like that do exist, it is not being enforced. Because
so no,
market you have to pay market fee.
Yes.
There should be an inspection carried out on a regular basis to find out all who are selling where they get the product from.
So you're now touching the part that is of great concern, and it is the enforcement side of things. There's a Predial Larceny Prevention Act that deals with how you verify and authenticate and what you produce and what should happen in the event of breaches. And there's an Agricultural Act, the Agricultural Produce Act. The problem, though, let me tell you the age of the act, because a lot of these acts, and it goes back to something we talk about here a lot, the Americans are calling it critical race theory.
Theory, yes,
Mhm.
yes, yeah.
Some of these acts are old, and they were born out of a time when people were trying to control the poor black people who up and down and sell things at the roadside and are hustling. So some of the acts have a place, a history that doesn't make them friendly or that doesn't make them effective. And we really need to overhaul what we have in place and start from a more positive position where we're looking to look at this one. The Agricultural Produce Act was first passed on the 1st of August, 1926. 1926.
What that is obsolete right now to what
No,
is
well,
going on.
it's been amended up to 2004, but 2005. It's been amended over the years. So there are some things in place which are not being enforced, and the issue would be, why aren't we enforcing it? And what is it that we really need to be in place? There are agricultural wardens
in most places
that need to be doing their work to contain some of these things.
We're not serious about agriculture as far as I'm concerned.
We agree with you. We agree
Yeah,
with
but
you.
not just agriculture. We're not
But
serious
it's
about
about most
people.
things and
We're not
people.
about people and protecting what people are doing and helping them to do it better.
Because right now, there should nobody at all should be just go and just get a goat or a cow and slaughter it and sell it. Nothing like that should be taking place.
And believe me, my brother, it should not be. We know that. And there are things in place that are not being enforced or used.
So we're not serious about nothing at all then. Then I'll going to do when the poor little man them lose them goat. We come on the road, everybody was
Yes, everybody, right. We ring with Hannah and we go back to things as
I
before.
go back to things normal. What I'm saying is I'm not saying anything to what my idea is not to
oppress.
Oppress
I know.
Small man, you know.
I know. I realize that. That's why I invite you to develop it some more, because you don't want to overregulate at the situation and then people are turned off from doing things. Right now, the law says every person carrying on the trade or business of growing or rearing agricultural produce shall become registered with the Rural Agricultural Development Authority. Every person carrying on the trade or business of buying or selling or of buying or exporting agricultural produce shall be required to take out a license under this act for each premises in which he intends to carry on such trade or business. And you can apply for a traveler's license if the person carrying on the trade or business or of buying and exporting agricultural produce and desires to buy any product at any place other than the premises. You get a traveler's license which entitles.
When I listen to those these lines, you know what? We are brilliant at coming up with making laws and making all them things. But then we just believe that the law by itself will solve the problem.
We were talking about that yesterday. Well, nobody heard us. Few persons heard us, but we were talking about that yesterday. The fact that you bring all these laws into being and you have all these provisions. The traveler's license was introduced in 2004.
Yeah, I never knew we had those type of
yes,
laws.
and it covers any agricultural produce, and there's a list of what that is. Any fish or livestock. Cover animals. So some of the things that you see happening here, it is a matter of knowledge on the part of those who are in the sector, and then enforcement by those who are tasked with doing it.
Education.
Because one of the things, you know, if you don't have a buyer, you can't have sellers, you know.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
it's like all right. When all the cook shops and that selling me restaurant and all them thing there. We should have regular inspection to find
Right.
out where
Where they're getting the goods, and they should be able to show, and absolutely,
and thing, yeah.
yeah. And that is what.
So there is a problem because if we do that, you know.
Listen, I can tell you, there's been at least one well-known attorney who spent time in jail for receiving stolen goods because he bought a motor car at a too good to be true price, and he was punished. I don't even know if they caught the person who sold him the car. So we're not, those principles are not unfamiliar to us. It's our commitment to deal with them. And here, when we emphasize what is meant by the rule of law. If you are in a democracy where the rule of law is supreme, then these things matter and we should deal with them. I have another call on the line, my brother. May
Thank
I
you for
take it?
calling. Always enlightening discussion from you.
Yes.
Yeah, man. All right.
All right. Thank you very much. Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
Oh, good morning, Mr. Stein.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, man. I like that time that caller it a while ago.
Yes.
You see what is going on now is that as I spoke to you the last time I spoke to you, we talk about the same thing here. You see, what is happening now, Pastor and Mr. Stein, is these traders are these people who have the license to trade. They're making billions of dollars, you know. And what's happening now? The government, they're not interested in farmers. Are interested in farming and growing.
So you're talking about scale.
Yeah.
Those who are operating at the big business level.
Yeah, because I'm enough pay people to come plant. I pay people to come reap. I pay people. I'm on just go a foreign, buy a big container with a piece them reject. With a wood for reject. Yeah, with a wood for reject food or chicken back and everything there. Or chicken. And freeze it and bring it down.
And our anti-dumping inspections and laws don't catch that.
Yeah, that's why you see so much people have cancer now and all kind of cancer. Much that type of cancer, that type of cancer. And then the government know.
Well, you know, that's a very strong indictment you're making there of the Bureau of Standards and the procedures we have for safeguarding public health with respect to the imported items that we eat.
See, what I'm talking about, you know, is the farming sector. You know, but see it grow.
Oh, I
You're
see.
not gonna see
Okay,
it grow.
so you're talking
with the
about
dump goods.
when we bring in carrots and lettuce and sweet peppers and whatnot. That's the second grade produce that the market didn't take up in the country of its growth.
In the country where it grow, yeah.
I see what you mean.
We import over $1 billion, you know, what a food, you know.
More than that, brother.
More than that, you know. We don't say over $1 billion. That means I can't do. So,
let me tell you what it is.
When you look at it, the man them want to import things right now. It's better for them to start plant food and want to buy them, sell them out the farming. But they're not doing no farming.
So
I post them I go build. You understand?
So
Jamaica thing.
No, let me say something. You're talking about the Bernard Lodge thing in terms of what has happened in terms of the divestment and where they're looking to go.
Okay.
In terms of that thing, some of it is housing, but most of how, if you can look at it, because they've been inviting investors to come in and to get it, most of it they're saying is for large scale agriculture, like farming and thing, and some big players in the market have already put their hat up and said this is what they're going to be doing. And I recall about last year, the former, what is the person, permanent secretary, who is now the registrar of the University of the West Indies, had been some extensive, using data, some extensive articles in terms of what we needed to do as a country in order to fixing the problem.
Pastor, I traveled to Dominican Republic, right? Sometime in year before last, right? And I drive from a boat. I drive from a boat for 10 miles. I maybe more, maybe about 10 miles, 10 miles.
And it's pure farming, you say, pure large scale farming.
I mean, I tell you, man, be that one that, I mean, I say, wait. Be that one that say, Canada, me there, where, you know, Canada is the second largest country, right? In the world. Me, I check that Canada, me there.
What crops were you seeing?
Canada.
What crops?
Farmer Canada, big on Jamaica.
Yeah, what are the crops that you were seeing as you drove through the Dominican Republic countryside?
Well, me I drive in a corn. I drive on a corn field.
Ah, yeah. Okay.
A corn field, big on Jamaica. You understand? I mean, I say, Jamaica now have to import all feed.
Feed for animals.
The fowl, them and all them.
Yes.
When them can plant all corn and plant.
Well, you're touching on the area that we were talking about, what Professor Anthony Clayton wrote concerning preparing for the future, Jamaica of 2050, and resilience and food supply was a big one. So, are you saying that right now we should revisit some of those discussions that are underway to take agricultural land, to put agricultural land into other uses, and we should revisit that strategy?
Yeah, because you know I plan to keep on the land again. So the land enough to start planting some corn and some other things.
Things that can, right, because when you plant corn, you can feed both your animals and the human beings. There are some things that, right.
You see, but they don't want to do that because the man make money off of importing corn. You understand? And when election time come, that same man there.
Yeah.
Right. But the money.
But it's a refocusing of public attention and opening up the discussion so persons can be more adamant and more involved in how those policies pushed by the government, and we have to figure out.
Farmer, you see, based on what I see going on there, with them throw a net over a farmer, and rob him and then shot him, and every farmer supposed to have a shotgun, you know. If I'm to restrict it for you on your farm,
but that makes sense because you're entitled to secure your home and your business, and if farming is your business, you should have that. And in some of the rural areas where the police are far away,
the big farms have rangers, and those of us who grew up. I see you,
no, man,
it's coming. I see.
Look at the conversation we're having on this issue. But thank you for sharing with us.
We can have it, you know, but I know we are making decisions.
No, but you see, people are listening. You understand how an idea works.
All right, for instance, all while people always are impacted. The opposition is a part of the government. But the opposition are making a decision. You must remember the last time, you know, when me see Peter Philip was there, and Peter Philip make some decision when vote for 14 SOE and then say the reason why I'm doing it, actually the government never have no crime plan. But when the government talk about it, the government say him vote for it too. When they complain and go on. You understand? So you see,
the reason for the agreement is critical. People can be motivated by different reasons. Yeah. But listen, man, when we speak, and earlier I was saying to Pastor that I don't speak to 100 persons, I speak to one. And all the time I pray that the one person who is supposed to hear and make a difference, that they are present and they are hearing. Keep that in mind. We speak is one person, is one set of ears we enter into at a time. One. That one is listening. That one is listening. Let's be confident of that.
You see, when government not understand enough, You don't need a man with no PhD, you know, for advice, you know. You must mix your advice and ration, you know. You see, when you have advisor, you have like 5 or 6 advisors. You must have a down-to-earth advisor, a man where, you understand, when know certain things like Pastor, Miss Lawrence, certain mix up, you understand?
Yes, yeah.
Because
yeah.
sometimes you have a man will live uptown and a man don't know nothing about certain things. A man don't know nothing about ghetto. Him don't know nothing about so and so. And him not advise.
Yeah,
Where my
and so
advise
it,
upon?
and so the thing is closed. You don't get the benefit of all the perspectives that matter in the decision that you're making. Yeah, that's true, and that's why consultation is critical. Thank you, my brother. Have a great day. Okay. Good morning and welcome to the Morning Connection.
Hello, good morning and welcome.
Hey, Neville. Good morning.
Good morning to my listeners and valuable, precious callers. I love the callers to this show.
Me too. Me too.
I want to put a challenge to you and the pastor.
Okay. I love challenge.
Want you to take a picture, both of you.
Mm-hmm.
Take it sitting down in front of your mic.
Yes.
And then when you take that picture, take it with your camera, take it with your phone. And I'm going to leave a WhatsApp number with Andre.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to WhatsApp that beautiful picture to my phone.
You're expected to be beautiful.
And I'm going to, no, listen.
Yes.
I'm going to take it to my curator. And she's going to develop an artifact for both of you.
Wow.
And I'm going to deliver it to the office first thing in January for you to look at that artifact and tell me what you think about it. Are you up for that challenge?
Mr. Producer, we need a producer. You're not the Mr.
No, it's a merchandising.
Okay, I hear what you're saying. Okay, I hear what you're saying. All right, okay.
Look here, you see when I develop that thing for you, the
Yes.
curator,
Yes.
and you see it,
Mm-hmm. We will love
you
it.
can look at it for yourself. He has moved from California,
Texas,
and he now lives in Texas.
Smart man.
In order to escape expenses and taxes
Mm-hmm.
and microchip in people, and they're going to want more children to experiment on it. That is the future of thinking of Elon Musk. Some people referring to him now as the devil.
Interesting.
And there's a man named WikiLeaks. Remember the WikiLeaks man?
Assange.
America has successfully won the case to extradite him back to America.
Yes.
And the WikiLeaks man had a massive stroke Monday morning.
I missed that.
Massive stroke. He has lost all his memory because of the level of stress that he would be under to go back to the United States. Can you imagine that? The WikiLeaks man.
Yeah, so he won't be fit for trial.
And that is the man who spoke the truth in the world. That is to tell you that we live into a secret society which is going to be run by digital technology, and they don't want nobody to know anything outside of what they tell you. They're going to undermine it and tell you that it's conspiracy theory.
Mm-hmm.
But let me just say this to you and your listeners before I leave. If you are involved in these 5 work, try and get out of it before 2025 and find something else to do. Newspaper vending, the world not going to need that in 2025. You see, all the bank tellers, those pretty girls and some boys that used to doing bank telling work,
Yes.
those works not going to be needed when they finish with the banks around here.
Tellers and cashiers. Tellers and tellers, cashiers too. Cash registers will go.
Cashiers will go, both supermarket and otherwise.
Yeah.
Bank tellers, librarians will go. You see, all of those who are in the postal service, postmen and women and postal clerks, they're going to close down the postal system in Jamaica by 2025. Never said so. So be careful of the work you're doing. And I hear you dwelling on agriculture.
Mm-hmm.
The study that they did at UTech about the minimum wage for the government, the professors up there told the Minister of Labour and Agriculture and Finance and the Prime Minister that a farmer uses up more calories than an office worker, and the farmer must get more money than the office worker because of the calories that they use up on a daily basis, and the government dumped that study in their file 30.
Yes,
can you imagine that in Jamaica?
In Jamaica.
It's good, it's better, but nothing beats. Best
Morning and welcome to the Morning Connection. The producer is now the photographer. We're taking up Neville's challenge. Out of it, I might get a non-fungible token. Pastor, do you know what that is?
So,
but please say yes, so I don't have to explain it.
But I just wanted to call.
Oh, we have two calls.
Okay.
Let's take them and then you can challenge me.
Import Billy.
Good morning and welcome to the Morning Connection.
Morning, love and bless. What going?
Good morning, my brother.
We'll
How you
find a
doing?
name for you now. If we're love and bless, what
What we call you? What will we call you?
African, you know.
Oh, you are African.
I know it's African, but I want to give you a name too. You know, give us love and bless. Anyway, go African. I'll figure it out.
Them a make machine now to decide who to live and who to dead.
Which machine is that?
A machine is that?
America and some other countries, they make some law towards it or against it or something like that.
We saw this information.
Then involved in it and, you know.
Boy, I don't know which machine is that, but tell me what's on your mind. That man has gone too far again.
Yeah, then if the machine, if you're gonna make a machine to the machine decide who to live and who to dead.
But in what circumstance? In what circumstance? People in hospital or how? What? People waiting for organ transplant?
Everywhere, sister. Yes, we are going to Madagascar right now.
What's happening there?
Some climate change are going over there. No water, no rain, no fall. The people in the water. And the people over there get mad and no food to eat. I leave me to them boy and a drink, you know.
Wow.
And look how Africa be. Huh? And all of these countries we are causing climate change. Like India and China, America. Why them don't deal with these things?
Well, you caught us with the Madagascar issue. Because I'm looking at it.
It's a severe drought could spur world's first climate change famine. Okay, in Madagascar.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. So, tell me what. Go ahead, and I'm trying to keep pace with you because I know that things are happening globally. Some things are happening right here on our own doorsteps in our own country, which shows that the changes in the climatic conditions affect how men live. Now you're saying that the bigger countries, the richer countries, most of them who are creating the most damage to the environment have a responsibility, and it is acknowledged that they do. So what are you saying now? I mean, we know they need to do better. That's all we've been talking about. Even at the last conference where they were being criticized for not doing nearly enough and not coming away with the level of commitments that they should. But Madagascar entered into the conversation. Is there some response that we should be organizing for Madagascar that you're not seeing, or?
There is no response from the world to Madagascar. None to our message on the news.
What you're seeing. Surviving
I don't understand them people in our world, sister.
Yeah. my brother, that one requires more time than we have because there's a need for external support, and at the same time there's a need for adaptation to take place within the countries to help them resist the worst effects of these changes. That kind of adaptation is also needed in Jamaica. I mean, we have communities that get marooned from time to time, can't get food out, can't get food in, can't get their sick out, can't get medical care in, and lives are being lost right here as well. Yes.
Empress, actually, you shouldn't have gone to that yet,
No, we're not at the point of famine, but it is a progressive march, towards that point where things that you could do to address or to mitigate, if you don't do them in time, it takes you to that place. So I'm not decrying what you're saying about Madagascar and elsewhere in the world where these things are happening, but it does require some look at our own situation and the readiness, preparing our own people to do the adaptation.
Forward down a yard a little bit.
Yes.
Empress.
Yes.
The mismanagement of our government system. It is not working for our people,
That's true, Russ.
True.
That's true.
True.
When we're talking about development, we're talking about foreign developer. What happened to the Jamaica people, sister?
Listen, said that in my heart too, because sometimes we block each other from progressing, and we will embrace and welcome others who take away the goods. So we have to do better at that.
Carpet for them.
Yeah,
I don't do the
that's
same for
true.
Jamaican
That's
investors who have the same amount of money.
Yeah.
Empress, what happened to we Jamaica people, sister?
We gotta look out for our own, my brother.
You have to develop that.
I agree with you on that.
Self-worth, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so.
Empress, we need to start from somewhere,
Yeah, that's what we're saying.
Well, we have started. I think we have started, and we see it
raising the
mushrooming.
consciousness of people.
We see it mushrooming. Just a lot more that still remains to be done.
Right now, our feelings is we feel left out.
True.
Mm-hmm. And abused.
I'm not telling a lie, Empress. It is good to be here, yeah?
All right, my brother.
Bless
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. There was another call on hold, but I think it probably, I wasn't tracking what's happening in Madagascar, and we're tracking what's happening in Ethiopia to some extent because of how important Ethiopia is to the Rastaman in Jamaica. Good morning, and welcome to the Morning Connection.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Not bad, sir, and good morning to all poor people and black people.
Morning, my brother.
Hello?
No, I'm answering for both.
Yes, black people and poor people. So go ahead and make your point.
Yes, sir. I have some burning issue I like to share.
All right, burning
I
issue.
will begin with food security.
Okay.
Can you get some?
Okay.
Yes, sir. And the next thing again now. I noticed past government and present government build house upon the agricultural land.
Yeah, the arable land. And it's a concern that people have raised. Yeah, go ahead.
No, sir, that is a burning issue to food security, When you look on the amount of food that we are import, and we have land idling, and also the government build house on the agricultural land, sir, I see that as fail of leadership,
Okay.
The next point I would like to make, sir.
Go ahead.
What is the government plan to have the pollution of these mass all around the place, and these mass are entering into the food chain?
The mask, the disposable mask.
Oh,
mask.
Yes, sir, all of them that is thrown around the place and dump in gullies and so. Soon as the rain fall, all of that end out in the sea. And the fish absorb it.
Mm-hmm.
So after a while, fish will have COVID,
Aye, it sounds funny, but you know, go ahead.
Any pollution of the waterways and the sea life is
Not good.
reprehensible. But you make a point about the
Disposal.
disposal of the masks.
The environmental thing.
I mean, most of them are biodegradable, I think.
Yeah.
So they really.
Not some of them are not, you know, based on the materials that it's made of. Take a long time.
Okay. Okay.
But that's an important
All right,
point. Anything else?
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
The water system in Jamaica, the government don't. When I look on the amount of houses who are built up, and it depends on the amount of reservoir to supply these upstairs and triple story houses or whatever you want to call them. So whatever happened within a long period of time, all those houses, you know, a high-rise building now have no water supply, you know.
Well, I mean, there is a water management authority, I think is what it's called.
Water
And
resources.
sir, that these are all issues. We've been talking about them somewhat too, even as we prepare for the future, because water supply and food are critical aspects of sustainable development and survival. So thank you for those burning issues. I hope you heard the report that I read out what the OUR was saying on the issue with the calling cards or the prepaid calling cards. And I know Pastor is still pressing with the path issue. All right, I have another call on hold. May I go and take that now? Thank you, my brother. Have a good day. Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
Good morning.
Hi, Georgie.
Me vex.
Me vex too, but you go first.
George, friend can't vex.
Let
Friend,
George go
Me
first.
vex.
State your grouse.
Listen now.
Yes.
Me no understand how the Prime Minister go up 11 step in a blue boat and talking to about tourists and ship and everything that's coming in here. And crime is on a rampant in this country. Eh? I vex.
So what surprised you about that, George? Because the Prime Minister has been
No, but it is-
wearing his
it's
blue
like he
boots
gets
and
it- all right.
making his speeches
Yeah.
for a long time.
But what I'm saying to you,
Yeah.
right? If there is somebody, even a farmer commissioner, say that he can volunteer to help Kirkile, they don't want to get the advice from that person. I remember one time when Peter Bunting was the Minister of National Security, him saying go need divine intervention.
Nobody laugh after
And we know them have to go pray.
Mm-hmm.
You understand me?
Yeah.
No, who doing their livelihood like say raising goat.
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
Yes.
No man, that hurt your belly man. Tie them up and shoot them, let them be done all them type
That's
of
what
stuff.
happened, you know.
Yeah. And I think that
You understand me? You can't raise a goat.
Oh,
My God, no man that hurt the man. Me have to feel vexed, man. Me can't feel comfortable. And him a walk around and talk about tourism and all of that and all type of thing. Listen, man, we have a situation.
Yeah.
We have a situation here. And now, because them can't go uptown and those people, them start to go up on the poor people. You can't raise a goat, much as a foal. You imagine what a man feel within himself. He might raise 33 goat and say some man take out him goat them. And him can't say nothing. All him have to say is thief, murder.
Because I mean these men were
And them man
out
them fire up
in-
chapter they never kill him.
Yeah, this is the men were out in the bush, so it's not like you could take the goats and leave them alive. No, that beg the
My-
question, that is people them.
Yeah,
who-
but what in your heart, so you carry them goat every man and you feed
But
them, you
it-
carry them, and you
it's
can
because
you can sell the goat and help make up and buy a couple more and because you don't have this is your job. This
No,
is
that's
your work.
because it's somebody known to
These type of thing and all that. You know, I go see them.
All right, my brother.
Yeah,
That
I
is
just
the
close?
ugliness of the situation. Go ahead.
I think there's a organization behind of the spreader larceny in terms of, as that caller said, and you raised the law with him. you must have a buyer of these things. Somebody buying the goat, there must be butchers who are buying it. The scale that they are
That they're
removing
stealing,
the provision from. I remember as a youngster, I know this gentleman who was saying, yeah man, you always go to country with him. And him say, come here, go reap today. When him go, somebody go reap the thing, him couldn't find one yam or nothing at all. So you are planning and somebody else planning for it. And it is organized, and it's time that beyond just saying it and putting in the ticketing system.
Mhm.
You have to put
We have to be serious
detectives
about it.
behind it in terms of going track it, in terms of intelligence. Major organized crime, that's what it is.
Even the people who are buying those goats and things there, them supposed to charge because I hear that
Of
somebody
course.
said that they want 2 goats to buy.
Of
Them have 2
course,
ram
of
yourself.
course. But
And the
they're
person
receiving-
them related to the police, and when them go to the place now to go buy the goat, everybody run down, give the goat them.
Because they are receiving stolen goods. That is still an offense, regardless of what nature of the goods. Helpers and household staff who steal gold and carry it to a jewelry store, showing up with jewelry that you don't appear to have the means to own or to buy, and they buy them and melt them and deal with them, and those persons should all be a part of the enforcement.
Yes.
All right, George, I gotta run and leave you because Andrew is waving the phone at me. Andre.
All right, okay.
All right, sir.
And Pastor P.
Good morning, sir.
Yes. No. I want some help from you people, Believe what I'm saying. I really need some help from you.
Yes.
Because
Go ahead, Branch.
Because I am the servant of God from the end of the earth. And what I really found out, the people have no knowledge of the prophecy of the Bible. And that is what giving us the biggest problem on earth. Because
My brother, before you leave the call today, I want you to give your number again to Andre, because Pastor was trying to call you, but we couldn't find the number that had been taken down initially.
Yeah.
I don't want us, All right.
Yeah.
So how can we help you now with your mission?
Well, what I want you to help me with, I would really like...
Because, you must teach the people, don't tell them. Because you don't let that our heart be troubled.
Mm-hmm. But there's another...
Right, Manny?
Yeah, but there's
Hello?
I'm hearing... Listen, you finish your point, and then I'm going to respond. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, in the same way that it says you're going to say all of these things are going to happen and let not your heart be troubled, you still have a mission and a purpose that you have to fulfill, even as you are ushering the kingdom of God when he comes back in all of his glory. Because he says you, in terms of sharing this message of faith and hope, is very, very, very important in terms of he coming back, because he says the gospel of the kingdom must be preached. Are you doing your part in terms of preaching about the gospel of the kingdom, where there's hope, there's faith, there's joy, there's love? We have to do that.
Yes, I know.
Okay. Back, he finds faith in the earth. When there's... Okay.
But, all these killing and murdering that's going on,
Mm-hmm.
touches me. Yes.
So what are you doing in terms of stopping this wickedness? What you have a personal responsibility to, because we as children of God have something that we have to do in the midst. We have to speak about that God is love. We have to believe that, because even the early church, people don't recognize it. When the early church was born, we think it bad now because we know about human rights, which is what has happened. But then you don't like the baby, just throw him out in the street. And it was the Christians who were taking up these children who were orphans, caring for them. People were sick and dying. The Christians were taking care of them. And we still have that message that we have to do in this time, even with the darkness that is there. Where there's darkness, when the light comes, it pushes back the darkness. All right?
Yes, Pastor.
All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much for calling. Is there a call on hold? Oh, good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
Africa love, blessed love.
Blessed love, my brother.
Man, you're a bongo person.
Good morning, sir. How you doing?
They are going on,
But you know, say, when I notice, you see what they have me here, all the shot upon. I'm a minister of agriculture now. For
Yes,
Yeah,
he
man.
was-
Agriculture and him have
yeah.
industry and commerce too.
He was returned to the portfolio after Floyd Green.
All right. You hear the brother say.
Yeah.
Him say 80% are mutton.
It's imported.
Them have to import it and have to pay for it. And as
This is where they yeah.
the man who
Yeah.
open up the market, the man who open up the market.
Yeah.
Because you know why I say him open it up? Because I see it happen now. Man, I kill farmer now, bust up gunshot and then later and take for them goat.
And you know, and the question is, I have
That's a
goat
very
meat. That's an interesting
very
point
interesting
in-
observation
you've made.
because it does make sense that if you hear that this is a good opportunity.
Yeah.
You see it? You see me deal with
Yeah,
it.
man.
When
The criminal economy
they-
turned their attention
they
to it.
know, all right, look on the red pole cow. The red pole cow is not a Jamaican. It's a Jamaican cow, but it comes to the Cuban cow and the Jamaican cow in a Michael Mann.
Right. It locked a lecky.
It's all them long ears goat, big ears goat. It's connecting grassmen, you know.
The Nubian, yeah. Because
Nubian.
what we have done is done some genetic inbreeding, yeah.
You know, so the government could have invest in a goat and Jamaica can write.
That's true.
But
they've
they
spoken about it, you know, this small movement, but they have not followed up. What has happened in Jamaica with a lot of things?
When young Damian Crawford suggested giving, what was it? He was giving just one gender, one goat to.
Yeah.
It evoked a certain kind of response, but the truth of the matter is, I think the government has made it possible for the sturdy ones that are high yield in meat to be here, and it is for farmers and private sector
Borders.
enterprises to
Take it
take
on.
up on the opportunity and deal with it. But I love what you have said. So could go into some goat farming, man.
What you mean then? But them couldn't kill my goat. My goat not to kill.
Oh.
My goat was to
Make milk, because
Breed
goat milk is actually, and yes, you can have a breeding farm.
And-
So
and
so you
me
would
rather
sell the
goat milk.
babies. You would sell them.
Goat
milk. Me rather sell goat milk than kill the goat.
Yes, I can understand that. And goat milk is
Yeah,
very
and one more
nutritious.
thing now, because I cut this thing short.
Yes.
Bongo never start a thing, you know. I have some people who sit up in a bank and supermarket and them a cashier, and sometimes when you go to them, them all embarrass you. But they must know that the robots, them a come.
Mm-hmm. Ah, yes, you said what Neville said a while ago. Yeah, man, there are some professions that
And
will
the
be
other
no
brethren
more.
know when they talk about the destruction. Is not it's World War III. It's possible than Miss Lawrence in a robot. I tell the robots to go kill them.
Okay.
You think me and you can get escape from this robot?
No, man, that
that
robot don't rest.
This is what man sit down and a plan, you know?
Yeah. All right, my brother. That was a scary enough proposition.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank
Have
you.
a good day. We have to take the break now, and then I know we have a call on hold.
Yes, man.
All right.
We'll be right back.
Looking to clean your vehicle super clean? 123 Clean Car Wash, located at 2 1/4 Osborne Road, Kingston 10. Entrance on Grove Road, below Tropical Battery. They wash and vacuum, undercarriage wash, engine wash, polish and compound, shampoo and detailing. Call them at 876-631-3400. 123 Clean Car Wash, the best in the business for a cleaner wash.
It's great.
My station.
This is my station.
Keep it.
Good morning. Welcome back to the Morning Connection. We have a caller on the line. Good morning. Welcome. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
There's about 3 things, but I can only get 2 in.
All right, start.
First of all, if I can make an appeal to Jamaican drivers on the road at night to dim their lights, especially on the road that don't have any white line marking, any white marking. That is causing a lot of accident because they have some bright white light that these men and women, they're not dimming.
Yes. All right. Appeal made. And we might repeat it for you at some point.
Somebody may hear and pass it on. The other thing now, I remember, this is politics. I remember in some campaign or after the win, this government, I remember MP said they're going to turn the whole country in green. I don't remember. Yeah, they said that.
The greening of Jamaica. But that has many different meanings. Are you referring now to the painting of the sidewalks?
Yes, I'm referring to that. No, the other picture now that I'm talking is the same thing. When they change, when the government put all the police bikes in green, you remember?
Yes, that electric.
The opposition raised
Right,
it, yes.
that electric green neon color.
They said it's for to show in the bright, to show so people can see the green, so the police don't get hit off their bike. But let me tell you, orange color is more shocking than the green. If you put the green and the orange way in the sky, you will see the orange show up more.
Which is
So why didn't they, if they're talking about putting the green on the bike so people can see it from a far distance, then you should put the orange.
Yeah, but we don't believe that was purely the intent. The color was to bring it in alignment with party colors.
It was the intent. It is the intent.
Yeah, that was the intent.
That's the exact thing they do.
Yeah. We're not fooled by that.
You know?
A lot of things
That-
And the code, the guidelines for behavior that the political ombudsman oversees specifically says not to inflame sensitivities by using colors
Right.
in areas where you know it would be inappropriate. Should she give him 5 days? 5 days plenty.
Even the library, I see some library bus now have green on it, and it is not the green of the flag.
Not the flag.
It's not the green that is on the
Yeah.
flag, you know.
Yeah.
It's another green.
Well,
if you're gonna deep, you know. The other thing I want to talk about now is crime. Crime.
Also, you managed to touch all three.
Crime. I don't know if you guys can remember anything about gun violence in politics campaign. Of meeting and people get killed, gunshot fire there. How many times? Compared to the PMP.
Oh, I don't keep a track of
I don't
that
keep a track of
comparison.
that. You look like you.
Having the most gun shooting at their conference and party and meeting compared to PMP all the time.
Okay.
All the time.
But you
no,
know,
why I talk about that, you know?
Sure.
I heard the security minister talking last night that they want stiffer penalty when you catch somebody with a gun. But they're not catching anybody.
So you can always say you want it. And you have the appearance of virtue without the reality of it.
And you know what they call him in Montego Bay, I heard?
Please don't say it here.
Gonchang.
Please don't say it here unless it's complimentary.
You know, that's what they call him.
That's what they call him.
And to me,
They
I
might be
take
referring
my
to his
ear.
portfolio.
And the people that does the most crime, and this is no lie. I did a survey for myself.
And what did? Oh, I see. You did to look at the instances of gun use at political events.
And all crime. It's mostly. I don't say the other side don't do crime, you know. It's just like the stealing of money.
Well,
one of the
things that we've got to get a grip on and avoid is to politicize crime.
Yeah, I agree.
Once we begin to do that, then the finger pointing never stops,
Right.
and the true solutions
Never
come.
Yeah, but finger
because
pointing never stop. It will never
because-
stop. From I was a little boy, it's been going on.
No, but I'm saying to you, if you are having, we have this thing in terms of conflict resolution. We often say focus on the issue, not on the person. Because when you begin to point finger, the person will build up a wall of resistance. You're not going to get you to say, how can we collaborate? How can we get a consensus? And they say that in terms of negotiation. So what we're saying, finger pointing is something that we have had from beginning to end.
Or let's not say finger pointing. Apportionment of blame.
Yes.
We can spend time saying who's at fault, so we know who to address and how to prevent certain things from recurring.
But then after that, the
But
solution.
After that, we got to
solution.
work on the solutions.
That's where my
But
brain is.
I know that what you're saying is being said in many quarters, looking at who's more culpable. And depending on where you stand, the other side gets it all the time. We have to begin to take responsibility on a more personal level and start to strip away the politics so the politics can become less important and less determinative of the outcome. I think the ombudsman was very jaywalk because...
No. It's an ombudswoman. It's not a man.
Well, ombudswoman. Let me see what the headline said. Did it say ombudswoman?
No, it said ombudsman.
Because it's the name of the office, not the gender of the individual. But I take the joke. Yeah, I really think that there should be some criminal implications for defacing the sidewalk in that way, and it should go beyond. It should
They're
go
going
beyond
too
just,
far. They're
that's
going too far with this green thing. I'm serious.
All right, my friend. I have a caller on hold, so let me release you and head to the next man. Thank you for those comments. All right. Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection. Good morning.
Good morning, Mrs. Lawrence.
Hello, Miss Mary. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Mr. Percy. Good morning, Mr. Lawrence. And morning again, Andrew.
Good morning, Mary. How are you today?
I answer for the others.
I am blessed and highly favored.
Make the declaration, my sister.
I went to bed late again this morning. But, you know, you folks, and greetings to everybody in Radio Land. You know, folks, abuse is treated very lightly, you know, it's like nothing. Because this society is very abusive, so... The people in the tourism industry, they can't find anywhere to live in Montego Bay and around.
So there is, yes, you're right. There is still a great need. The demand for housing outstrips the supply right now.
The Prime Minister of the country.
Yeah.
And you people talking about green, if the Prime Minister can be talking about when he put on his green shoes, Clark shoes, election time. If a Prime Minister can win the election, just wearing green shoes.
Just showing his green shoes.
This is what kind of country we are. But let me touch one more important point. The Privy Council. My case went to the Privy Council. It's a very expensive situation. And they say whenever people go to have the case and it goes to the Privy Council, they call them the rich and famous. You have to pay the lunch money for the lawyers, taxi fare, hotel, everything. If it's from Jamaica, you have to pay them the airfare first class. So it's very, very expensive. In my case, the international lawyer, we had to pay him millions of dollars, right? And he argued for 3.5 hours. 24th of April, you know, England is cool in that time, right? My sister was there, my auntie was there, my nephew. And the case had nobody, no defense, because the case was presented as murder because I wanted this man money and a house when I had 3 properties and 3 titles, right? And I had money, right? And it's after I exhausted all my Jamaican appeals and the Privy Council.
Were you satisfied with the results from the Privy Council, or not the results, but the process?
There was no defense. They just said man was killed because his wife wanted his house and property, his house and money. So, and then it's when the case came back to Jamaica, and the last resort now was to take it to the Governor General. That's when they say it was a domestic. I am an abusive woman, and that's the 20-year sentence with every stipulation in the world, right, was too excessive for domestic violence case. Yes. And it was reduced. And it's that time, after 10 years, the Governor General asked the Correctional Services to send out a probation officer to do a case history on me, and that the case history was supposed to be done before you get sentenced.
Sentence, yes. Well,
So
I
this
mean,
is a corrupt society, and I'm saying, you know why I'm saying it? And let me talk, Mrs. Lawrence and folks, let me tell you, if anybody, if you're in a, my relationship should not have started, right? Not justice. These cases, certain cases, they are tried in boardrooms. All the jury, it's a big fiasco. There was a Chinese man. There was a Chinese man sitting to the corner to me. And he had his hand, right, at his chin for the duration of the trial.
he was one of the jurors. He was one of the.
One of the lawyers was coming to me and he stopped on Hagley Park Road and saw the man swung into a business place and he swung in there too. And he says, "What is it you do to Mary Lynn's case?" He said, "What I did. The case is not no murder or anything." He said, I didn't know. I just went along with what the other people said. Now I realized. So on a keep far from the courts of Jamaica, right? I said it already the other day and I'm saying it again. You have to hire a lawyer to watch other lawyer, just like how
Mary,
sometimes you
I
have
need
to
I need a morning with you, Mary, when we can talk through these issues because
but I'm telling the world, I told you, right?
Yes.
Keep away from the justice system, especially if you are black, because if I was a turn color woman, it would have been different. But I love my color.
Yeah.
This
Mary.
is a corrupt country.
Mary, I want you to sit with me one Thursday morning so we can.
1 second, Mrs. Lawrence.
Yes.
The judges, some of the judges and the lawyers, they should be put in prison.
Okay.
But you know, Mary, while
they
you're.
They are bandits. They are bandits and jagabats.
All right, Mary.
They
Okay.
Yeah,
All right,
Mary, you know,
Mary.
You
All
know
right.
that
Mary.
based on your experience, Mary, it is worth having a proper conversation to go through some of these things because, yeah, but we can't all stay away because sometimes it draws us in.
Right. You see how they treat people. You see how they treat people in Jamaica.
Yeah, but
and the blacks, we are in the majority, right? And we are treated like nothing, and the blacks don't unite.
Okay.
So a part of the
our problem
a part of the conversation though, Mary, and your experience, since you are prepared to share it and to speak on it so publicly, your experience is an important part of how we can do better. I want to try. I will not give up by saying that because I had a bad experience, people should stay away from it because I have to make sure that I leave something that my son or my daughter or grandchildren, when they come, that they can have a slightly easier time. But I know that you have a lot in your spirit to share, and I want to help you to bring it out.
Because I don't know if I'll get there.
Thanks very much. We're going to talk to Mary again. But listen, my YouTube family is crying for some love, and I feel so awful because we're so busy fielding the calls and running 6 different devices that we've not been able to address some of the issues, and some big things are coming out on the YouTube chat because a lot of the listeners there are tackling the issues in parallel with our discussion. So YouTube, we're feeling you. We're sorry that we've not been able to, as I normally do, take some of the comments straight as they are. And it's been a lot. Oh, wow. I tell you what, I am going to pick out some of the issues. We only have like 5 minutes left. I hate when we're against time like that. Suffice it to say, a lot of things are happening, and all of us. Mary is a beloved caller to this show, and I can see that this morning her heart is full. I want to have a proper conversation with Mary. Mary's story is one of domestic violence and abuse. She never got a fair hearing. Through no fault of her own, really, because in these situations, you can't blame the accused person who has the right to remain silent. But when things are known, both in the public domain and when you have attorney representation issues, it is just it's really worth spending some time to understand it so that as a people we can be more responsive to persons who find themselves in that situation. Mary's case is now a staple in law schools and faculty of law in the region because of how much it exposes the insensitivity of a system when certain things are before them. Let's see now. Predial larceny, that argument was picked up on in the chat. I see Taki and Al-Kebulan dealing with some of the issues that came up. Boy, it is, yeah, because the AIDS vaccine and the AIDS medication and the vaccine, Fauci dealt with both, and is the same guy.
Is the same guy.
Trying to move from glory to glory. So today's glory. What is happening in the area of predial larceny? When take the business of the people